So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, October 1st, and it's 2024. We're going to, move into the meeting here, but I just wanted to make a real brief, quick statement congratulating our former president, Jimmy Carter, on his 100th birthday. We did a resolution a few weeks ago, but today is his actual birthday. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and congratulate him. He's done a lot of things both while in office, but especially a lot of things after, he got into office as well. So, Supervisor Kirk, could you please lead us in the pledge?
That was a strong pledge. We got a lot of good support on that one.
Yeah, I heard a lot of voices from the audience for sure. Okay, so now is the time, what we do first after our pledge is we allow people that want to have oral communications with our board. These are for items and kind of a reminder for people that are, coming in, and for people that are new, it might be news to them. These are for items that are not on the agenda, first of all. You'll have ample opportunity to speak on any item on the agenda as we work through the agenda today. If you choose to speak on something, you'll come up to the podium right here. And please remember that you'll be addressing our board. And besides that, you'll have 3 minutes. There's a clock up here that's a countdown timer. After 2 minutes, there'll be an audible tone that goes off. So that's your heads up. You got 1 minute left. And it's amazing how quick 3 minutes can go by. Other than that, I would very much appreciate, as I've stated quite a number of times in the past, even though anybody can come up to this podium and speak, including bad language, I would encourage and hope that you not do so out of respect for both our staff, our public, and we've got a lot of youth with us today, so that especially important today. So with that said, calling for oral communications. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Elena Linehan. I am a volunteer with the Erroneous Research Club. We've been around since 1915. We own the clubhouse that's just up Elkham Street from the Red Church. And every year we host Coffee with a Cop. It's coming up on Wednesday, October 9th. It'll be right there at the clubhouse at 37 Elkham Street. It's from 10:30 to 1:30, but it's a drop-in. You don't have to come for the entire 3 hours, although you're welcome to do that too. We'll have the officers from the Sonora Police Department there with us. We encourage everyone to attend. It's a chance for us to talk to our police officers, have them get to know the neighborhood and our people, build communications. You have all those questions about, well, how come this happened and the police didn't do anything? They can explain what the laws are behind their action and what they're limited to be able to do. And also, when's a good time to call and how to call. And it's very interesting. We really had a good turnout last year. We plan to do this annually. I know that not everyone has constituents that vote and live in Sonora, but I'll bet every one of you have a constituent that either works in Sonora or shops in Sonora. So I'd appreciate your help getting the word out to your voters and to the public at large. There will be refreshments. We have donuts, we have coffee, we have bagels, and we have door prizes. So we encourage everybody, all ages, to come. The event is Coffee with a Cop. It's part of a national program, and I've brought flyers for each of you to share. Thank you so much.
And if you could please repeat the date and time.
It's on Wednesday, October the 9th, from 10:30 to 1:30. It's a drop-in, so you don't have to come for the entire time. And it's at the Red Church. It's at the Red Church. It's at the Erroneous Clubhouse, which is at 37 Elkham Street, just up from the Red Church.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. very much, and thank you for hosting, that at your place there. Any additional oral communications? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm John Flynn, your political watchdog, and I was caught off guard about a meeting today from yesterday, so I'm gonna just go into string it along. All right. Let's see. Gerard Brandon, you mentioned in the My Mother Load Internet, you were quoted on September 17th. You wanted to charge $5 for entry fee, and you need to have due process of law for the citizens or the people who live in this county. And on top of that, there is no due process. And you also have, there's two U.S. Supreme Court rulings, Self versus Ray, 1985, and Rodriguez versus Donovan, 1963, that states that that's all for government. You want to charge government, county employees, state, CAL FIRE, go into the ballpark, go right ahead. But you can't charge the people because we're not government people. Your codes, rules, regulation, fees, that's for you, not for us. Next subject, David Goldenberg. I was at your meeting Wednesday right here, the camera, and you all stated in June, on June 14th, I wasn't here, but everybody else was, and you stated that we need the 1% sales tax for fire, road department, and for the sheriff department. I'm all for the sheriff department. Maybe you should start them off at $78,000 a year for a start, and then I don't know where that should end, but, and then you also state, but now, on the September 24th, last Wednesday, you stated that David Goldenberg now, he says the 1% increased sales tax will not go to road department nor to the fire department. You're doing a bait and switch, you get it on there, but you didn't have any town hall meetings prior to the, you just went and put it, Debbie Bautista put it on the ballot. That was illegal because there was no town hall meetings. And speaking at the podium on June 14th for 3 minutes for each person in the county protesting is not a town hall meeting. So that's inappropriate. And then someone said the John Birch Society, I'm not going to say who, but in August, they wanted me to work with Ryan Campbell and work with him. Don't come on so hostile. And I had to think about that for 4 days, back and forth ethics in my head. And the answer is no, I won't work with him. I'll be polite and cordial here, but that would be taking a bribe, and I'm not going to compromise my values on crooked politicians, judges, and I was brought up in a criminal investigative family of newspaper journalists. That's what we were supposed to focus on. People violate their oath of office and then legally bring them down.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you. And just as a matter of public record, at the community meeting that I held in this room, I did not state that none of these funds would go for fire or roads. In fact, I stress that under the type of measure that we have on a sales tax measure, we're not allowed to pre-state exactly how those funds will be used. So I just want to clarify that on the record. Anybody else that would like to speak under oral communications? Good morning, sir.
The third talk in the series before the next board takes their seats. We're hoping we have a board that's more people-centric and less business-centric. The first talk was on the Northern Sierra Railroad, and it's a 126-year-old railroad that's obsolete, and we have propane tanks running around. I think the dangers that are there are pretty self-evident. PG&E is running wild. I know with my bills and our businesses and the government, the cost of electricity is going to be a major problem. 6 years ago, you had the opportunity. The Sierra Nevada Conservancy wanted you to build a 3-megawatt power plant, offered $22 million. The State Energy Commission was behind that. And if you'd have done it at that time, we were just at lunch the other day on a napkin, and we figured that you'd be probably a second module at that point, 6 megawatts at $32.65 a megawatt. You'd be grossing about $1.7 million a year off a plant that you could have put up close to the forest. The plant probably cost about $2.5 million. I know counties up and down the Sierras now are trying to do this to get a power company going to compete with PG&E. About $3.5 to $4 million for a 5 megawatt plant now, but you could have put that in and then had almost $20 million to buy property and put infrastructure, and you've been growing. You could have done it on the 120, you could have done it both in the 108 and 120. But today I want to talk about the lawsuit. The county's being sued because they've neglected to do hotspot testing on polluters in the county. And so you got a hot little law firm that's after you guys, and you neglected to do that. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. When we put businesses in that pollute, we almost just turn it loose. Golden State Financial Authority is an example. That's the people you put in 6 years ago down at J59 and let them say that they're going to do a major plant. They're going to ship by rail to Stockton and then ships all over the world, industrial wood pellets. In 6 years, they've done nothing. So that's the kind of problems that create danger. Today, I also want to talk about American wood fiber. They're put in without any environmental. I talked to the engineer that put it in. He said, this is really kind of a mess down here, but we're going to put 3 filters on the plant that'll help with the pollution. What did they do? They disconnected them. You can drive by there and see them hanging in midair. They're also doubling their size of their operation down there now. Have anybody heard anything about it? There's no, they don't talk to the neighbors, they don't talk to anybody, and our media covers up all these business things. And then ultra power, how we test ultra power, it's been there 4 decades. We've never tested their emissions. And when they go out to test the piles, a technician from Tuolumne County goes down and, boy, that doesn't look good. Well, we'll mix some of the good pile with the bad pile. That's the extent of testing. We're going to have a burning ban in the valley.
Thank you, sir. Your
coming
time's up, sir.
January 1st.
Thank you. Any additional oral communications? Okay, seeing no additional people that would like to speak under oral communications, we will move forward on our agenda to staff reports. This is the opportunity for our staff to highlight things that they have going on in their individual departments with a brief update on to educate both the board as well as the public. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, board members, and I just want to thank you for your support and everything that you guys do and your time. I know right now we have a lot of challenges in front of us, but I just really appreciate your guys' support. So I want to give a little update on our staffing. As of September 23rd, with our maintenance team, we have filled all of our positions, 9 full-time positions, so I think that's great for our team members. And then as of October 7th, 2024, we will have 6 of 8 housekeepers. And then we are going to be doing interviews towards the end of the month to fill the rest of them. So we're very excited about that for our team partners in the county and everything. So thanks for everybody's patience and being understanding with the staffing levels. It has been a little bit challenging, but I'm encouraged by our new team members and everything. And so we look to grow and move forward and be as efficient as possible. So thank you guys for that. I'd also like to take a quick moment to thank the GSA team members. We have a lot of really good team members involved in that. We are constantly throwing ideas out to make changes to be the best we can for our county team members and for the community to be efficient. So I gotta say it's been great as a collaborative. So I just wanted to thank all of them for their time and effort. So you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and also glad to hear that we're filling positions because we had quite a number of vacancies, and it's refreshing to see that we're filling them. Good morning.
Good morning, Board. Excuse me. Kim Freeman, your Health Officer and EMS Medical Director. I'm just here in gratitude and an update. As you know, the legislative cycle ended yesterday, and the governor had hundreds of bills to go through at the last minute. So I wanted to update you that AB 1168, which was stated to erode medical control, did get vetoed, and so I appreciate your support on that. In addition, AB 2859, which brings peer support to EMS providers, was passed. He signed it. So success all around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your efforts. Oh, we got a couple of guests here.
Hello, we're from Animal Control. My name's Sean. This is Adrian. This guy's Milton, and this is Norman. These are two of several kitties that we have up for adoption at Animal Control currently. We just wanted to come and give the board some updates and also let everybody know that we still have lots of animals up for adoption. And also thank the public and the staff too for responding to our last ask for help with our adoptions. We got a lot of animals out to good places. So we just wanted to thank everybody for that and show some kitties. And then also we have a relief position that's open at our shelter for a part-time animal care technician that we just opened, so we're hoping to fill that sometime soon, get some extra help. And yeah, that's about all I can think of. So thank you. We just wanted to come and give some updates and show off our kittens.
Sounds like we need to have a weekly puppy kitten presentation.
I think we need to keep refreshing people's
It's
memories
working,
of
so thank
as
you.
to the need.
It's good for morale.
And if any 4-H kids would like to take a kitten home,
About kittens.
And I have a question.
Thank you for your time.
Excuse me, I have a question.
go
How
ahead,
how
sorry.
old do you have to be for that position as animal technician?
I believe it's 18 and up, and you have to have a driver's license. But other than that, we want to see animal experience. But other than that, if you're willing and ready to be hands-on with animals, there's not a lot of requirements. So
And is it part-time or full-time or
it'll be
either one?
part-time, and it's basically an entry-level position. So
Great.
18 and a driver's license.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Very good, thanks. Good morning.
Morning. I am Sue Abernathy. Oh, it's a little loud. I'm a public health nurse here at Tuolumne County Public Health Department.
If
I'm
you
here to
can,
talk-
if you could bring the mic a little closer.
Little
I know it,
closer?
yeah,
the
so
recording.
that everybody can hear.
Better?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm here to talk about California's Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Week, which will be observed statewide from October 20th through the 26th. It is a week-long information campaign about childhood lead poisoning issues. Our campaign message this year is "There's lead in that." Learn about sources of lead in consumer products. Lead poisoning can seriously affect a child's brain and nervous system. It can cause learning and behavioral problems. A blood lead test is the only way to identify lead poisoning in children. The purpose of this campaign is to remind parents that lead poisoning can be detrimental to young children's health and development. It's important for a parent to ask the child's doctor about lead poisoning, blood lead testing. In California, children can be exposed to lead by ingesting lead-contaminated dust, paint chips from deteriorating lead-based paint, and lead-contaminated soil. Other sources of lead poisoning include lead dust that's brought home on parents' work clothes, certain imported ceramic potteries, painted objects, traditional home remedies, traditional cosmetics, and imported spices, candies, and other food products. Additionally, activities that involve lead products such as soldering, making stained glass, handling bullets or fishing stinkers can put children at risk. During Lead Prevention Week, look for our ads in local media, on Tuolumne County Public Health social media, and our local theaters. Also, there will be a webinar session during Lead Week about preventing lead exposure. All sessions are free and open to the public. Handouts on the potential sources of lead and webinars are available at the back of the room. In addition, I would like to share information about our Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program team meetings that are held quarterly. We are looking for new members within our county. Our meetings are hybrid, include a PowerPoint presentation, educational materials related to the topic, and sometimes we provide snacks. I'm also available to provide educational outreach to community organizations and agencies. So if you have any further questions or would like to request any educational materials, we can be found at Tuolumne County website under the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program, or you can call at 533-7401. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, members of the board. My name is Denise Sanford. I'm a registered nurse and the immunization and pandemic flu coordinator for Tuolumne County Public Health. It's flu season. I am here today to announce our upcoming flu vaccination clinics. The first community walk-in flu clinic will take place this year in conjunction with the health fair. We're glad to have that back. It's been a while. This will be on Saturday, October 26th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be at the Motherlode Fairgrounds in the Creekside Building, and that's where the flu clinic will be. Free standard dose flu shots and high dose flu for those 65 years and older will be available. And the standard dose is for 6 months through 6 months and older. No appointment is necessary for the walk-in clinic. Just come on in. Registration forms for the clinic, those are available on our website, on our Facebook page, Instagram. They're also available in the public health lobby, and I have brought a stack here on the back counter. I've also shared one with you as well. So it has the flyer on one side and the registration form is on the other. Free flu shots for those 6 months of age and older are also available throughout the flu season at Tuolumne County Public Health Department by appointments on Tuesdays. To make an appointment, just call the main number at 533-7401. Be sure to check our website, Facebook, and Instagram page for more information on additional pop-up mobile clinics that we'll have planned throughout the area of the county throughout the season. Remember, in addition to washing your hands, staying home when you're sick, covering your coughs and sneezes, getting an annual flu vaccine is still recommended for everyone 6 months of age and older as the best protection for yourself and your community against the flu. We hope to see you all at the flu clinic on October 26th between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the Motherlode Fairgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very glad to see you providing that service. It's a great thing to have in our community. Good morning.
Good morning, Board. Donnie McNair, Clerk and Auditor Controller. We are back into election season, so ballots are going to be sent out October 7th. If anybody doesn't get their ballot by the 17th, please call our office at 209-533-5570, and we'll get your ballot suspended and reissued.
Thank you. Any additional staff reports? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move on to our consent calendar. And so I just, before we get going on it, I want to advise both the public and the board that item number 5 on consent is being pulled by staff. They still need a little work on that. They intend to bring it back on October 15th. So if anybody was interested in that, it's pulled today, so we won't be discussing it, but it'll be back on our agenda on October 15th. And with that said, I will look to the board, my fellow board members. Does any board member have an item that they want to pull from consent? Okay, so I'm not seeing any, so I'll move on and ask the clerk to please read our consent calendar, less item number 5.
Item number 1, adopting Resolution 8524, proclaiming October 2024 to be National Archives Month for Tuolumne County. Item number 2, determining there is a need to continue the emergency actions ordered by the County Administrative Officer as a result of a series of storms from February 2023 through March 2023 pursuant to Public Contract Code 22050 and TCOC 3.22.060 for 5th vote required. Item number 3, determining there's a need to continue the emergency actions ordered by the County Administrative Officer as a result of a severe storm on or about March 1st, 2024, pursuant to Public Contract Code 22050 and TCOC 3.22.060, four-fifths vote required. Item number 4, determining there's a need to continue the emergency actions ordered by the County Administrative Officer as a result of a flood damage on August 19th, 2024 at the Navigation Center pursuant to Public Contract Code 22050 and TCOC 3.22.060, four-fifths vote required. Item number 6, approving amendments to agreements for professional services in each of the 3 categories. Geotechnical Services 1 with HDR RECCO, Traffic Engineering Services 2 with Fair and Piers, Advanced Mobility Group, and Environmental Services 3 with Nichols Consulting Engineers, Area West Environmental, and First Carbon Solutions, and authorizing the board chair to sign the amendments included in the fiscal year 24-25 recommended budget. Item number 7, approving an agreement with Belvoir Property Restoration for repair work for flooding damages done during the storm in March 2024, located on Department of Social Services building at 20075 Cedar Road North at the Sonora Main Library building on 480 Greenlee Road to not to exceed $850,000, and authorizing the county administrator to sign all related documents included in the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget. Item number 8, approving an agreement with Belvoir Property Restoration for repair work for water damage done on August 19th, 2024 at the Navigation Center Building B, located on 20420 Rafferty Court to not exceed $525,000, and authorizing the county administrator to sign all related documents included in the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget. Item number 9, approving a letter of support to California Public Utilities Commission, CPUC, for the approval of CPUC Resolution T-17843 pertaining to the Tuolumne-Mariposa project. Item number 10, adopting Resolution 8624, delegating authority to the Community Development Director on their designee to execute tolling agreements related to the processing of wireless communication towers in accordance with federal and state regulations. Item number 11, accepting the notice of completion for Keween Mill Culvert Lining Project number 1774, and authorizing the chair to sign the notice. Item number 12, approving a restated joint powers agreement for the Yosemite Area Regional Transportation System, YARTS. Item number 13, awarding a contract in the amount of $97,044 to Easy Street Gravel, LLC, to perform work as shown in the invitation for bid number 1665-2, road repairs CSA 3, and authorizing the county administrator to sign, included in the fiscal year 24-25 recommended budget. Item number 14, approving the Health Information Exchange Grant Agreement with HealthNet, recognizing unanticipated revenue in the amount of $20,000, increasing appropriations by the same amount for the fiscal year 2024-2025 Public Health Department budget, and authorizing the county administrator to sign all related documents, four-fifths vote required. Item number 15, approving a recommended changes to the Board of Supervisors Committee assignments for the Local Agency Formation Commission representatives for the 2024 calendar year. Item number 16, approving an agreement between the County of Tuolumne and Auction Exchange Incorporated, DBA Bar None Auction, for online auctioneer services for disposal of surplus vehicles, equipment, and other property, included in the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call for public comment on items that were on the consent calendar. I was just going to make a brief note, though. A couple items on here, discuss flood damage. These were not natural caused. I think everybody's pretty well aware of what's going on with Hurricane Helene. Very disastrous, affecting multiple states. I believe it was 7 states that were heavily impacted. Many, many people died, and they had tremendous amounts of flooding. So just when I saw that on here, it jogged my memory, to think about that. And we should be thinking about all those people that are really suffering. So does anybody have any, in the public, any public comment on items on the consent calendar? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I'm happy to see number 7 because that library's been a mess for quite a while. So it'll be good to see that it gets fixed. And then regarding item number 15, your LAFCO is a mess. I think a lot of you know that. I hope the new appointee will be able to calm down some of the chaos. And I'm hoping being on a higher board will help you with some education, and perhaps you could do something about it so it's not such a mess, because our county deserves better. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment on the consent calendar? Okay, with that said, I'll bring it back to the board. Are there any comments on the consent calendar before we move forward? Supervisor Brandon, please go ahead.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to note the continued progress with interconnection to CPUC as well, and thank we have for cal.net. I know that we had some difficult conversations there, but I appreciate them following through so far on what we've discussed. The goal of basically being able to deliver broadband to our community. And I also wanted to say thank you to Supervisor Goldenberg. I expressed interest, as the memo said, in our LAFCO, which right now is in, I think, a difficult position, as we know. And I look forward to the challenge of it. I hear that there is some competition from a Sacramento County supervisor. For anybody that doesn't know, LAFCO is the little kept secret of county governments. It manages all special districts. It's very important. Nobody knows what it is. It's not a comedy club or something like that. Local agency, formation commission, and it has a statewide entity. And I think we may have a proposal to help a lot of rural counties out, and I'm hoping that we can get them on board. So I appreciate your faith and trusting me in that, and I look forward to serving on it. Well, tentatively, we'll see.
Very good, I understand. Well, you're going to be on the LAFCO regardless, whether or not, hopefully you'll be on the state body. Yeah. So any additional comments by board members? If not, I will look for a motion to approve our consent calendar.
So moved.
I've got a motion by Supervisor Brandon.
Got it.
I'll second it.
I got 3 seconds.
Okay.
I went to bed at
Mr.
4:30
Chair.
this morning, so don't expect
I
a lot
didn't hear
out of me.
anybody else second. Who did?
I did.
Oh, sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to go with the motion by Supervisor Brandon, second by Supervisor Campbell, and project that voice a little bit better, please. And, okay.
I mean, I second more than like anybody, so doing the heavy lifting.
You were given a pause, I recognize. So I will call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? Okay, motion carries. Consent calendar as noted. All right. So now, we are moving on to proclamations and commendations, and I'll ask the clerk of the board to please read item number 17.
Item number 17, consideration of adopting Resolution 8824 proclaiming October 6th through 12th National 4-H Week.
All right, so I see quite an audience out here today. Welcome and thank you for coming. And we're gathering here to sort out who's going to do which part.
Good morning. My name is Ariella Soldati, and I'm a second-year Tuolumne County 4-H ambassador. Hello, I'm Kira Danicourt. I'm a third-year Tuolumne County 4-H ambassador, and with us is our advisor, Sue Moore, and members of the Tuolumne County 4-H leadership team, and we would like them to introduce themselves.
Hello everyone, I am Riley Castro. I'm 13 years old and this is my third year in 4-H.
Hello, my name is Sydney Thorslin. I am 14 years old and this is my third year in 4-H.
Hello, my name is Alicia Soldati. I am 13 years old and this is my 9th year in 4-H.
Hello, I am Kaylee Thorslin. Hi. I am turning 16 in November and this is my third year in 4-H.
Hi, my name is Serenity Ducker. I am 15. This is my third year in 4-H, and I would like to introduce our leadership advisors, Athena Vaughn Ducker and Kim Freeman Lloyd.
Very nice.
First, a little bit about me. I'm 17 years old. I attend Somerville High School as a senior. I'm also dual enrolled at Columbia College taking calculus and Spanish. This is my 9th year in 4-H, and I've been in a total of 37 projects. The ambassadors plan and put on some of the county 4-H events. This year, as ambassadors, we also taught sessions at county schools Mad About Science Camp and workshop at the State 4-H Leadership Conference. And coming up, both the leadership team and ambassadors will put on Teen Retreat next month and Junior Retreat in February for the younger members. Next week, October 6th through the 12th, is National 4-H Week. This is when communities across America recognize the 4-H program for the opportunities it provides their youth and the contributions those members make to their communities. Back in 1914, Congress passed the Smith-Lever Act establishing cooperation extension, which put university professors into the counties. Harry Hinckley came to Tuolumne County in 1947 as the first farm advisor and started the Sonora 4-H Club in 1954. This year is the 70th anniversary of 4-H in Tuolumne County. Funding for cooperative extension comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the land-grant college in each state and local counties. We're here to thank your board for funding cooperative extension in Tuolumne County so we can be in 4-H. The 4-H's are head, heart, hands, and health. From these 4 pillars, 4-H is built of projects, events, competitions like the fair, and community involvement. 4-H members have fun while they learn life skills they will use in their future. For me, a big one was the public speaking project. I didn't like speaking in front of people, and when I had to talk in big groups, I'd cry. I was in the public speaking project for 6 years, learning how to develop a presentation and how to speak in public. Now I can use those skills as an ambassador, putting together workshops for our events, to give presentations at school, and even speak to you today. I'm sure you've seen 4-H members showing at fair. I raise and show rabbits, turkeys, chickens, and lambs. I also enter still exhibits like art, baking, photos, welding, floral arrangements, preserved foods, and decorated cakes. In 4-H, I have learned how to take care of my animals and how to present them to the judges. I have also learned how to market my project to buyers and talk to the public. The 4-H program and the volunteer leaders have provided opportunities for me that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, especially the leadership skills, teamwork, record keeping, and public speaking. 4-H empowers young people with the skills to lead for a lifetime. It has helped me learn about myself and become a better person. Thank you.
Well, you have obviously done well with your public speaking skills. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. So a little bit about me. I'm a sophomore in high school at Gold Rush Charter School, and I'm part of the Tuolumne County Pioneers Club. I'm one of the 7 members on the Tuolumne County leadership team. 5 of us are here today. 2 of us weren't able to make it, Emma Llewellyn and Jocelyn Lloyd. This is my 2nd year on the team. The leadership team, we meet once a month with our advisors. This year, we have learned our personal strengths with the Clifton Strengths Test. My top 5 strengths were adaptability, empathy, futuristic, relator, and positivity, meaning that my main block of skills is on relationship building. We are currently in the process of writing our own mission and vision statements. So far in the realm of leadership, I have learned that I don't have to do everything myself, and part of leadership is learning how to give everyone a job so that they can contribute to the project and learn how to work with a team. I have been in 5 projects: goat, canning, swine, chickens, and public speaking. I have learned so much in all of them, including different ways to take care of myself, like how to raise my own chickens and pigs, as well as how to preserve and can my own food. Public speaking has helped me the most by far. I speak better in front of people now and did very well during our competitions. I also enjoy representing 4-H in the community. The leadership and ambassador teams were in the 4-H flag ceremonies to open and close the livestock shows at the Motherlode Fair. I would like to thank you for your support of the 4-H program and for giving us the opportunity to share with you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, supervisors. As many of you know, my name is Kira Danicourt. I am 17 years old and I am attending Gold Rush Charter School via independent study. I am also a dual enrollment student taking classes in art and child development. This is my 13th year as a 4-H member. I started in the program as a primary member in 2011, and sadly in June, I will have finished my last year. It will be bittersweet, but I can proudly say that 4-H has helped me become a confident, competent, and unique individual. And it has helped me develop and gain many skills that benefit me in other areas of my life outside of 4-H. Throughout my time in 4-H, I have participated in 21 different projects, ranging from cooking and canning, to haunted house theater and public speaking, to goats and chickens. I have been a camp counselor, on the leadership team, held almost every club office, and last year became an active participant in our County Leaders Council. In 4-H, we are encouraged to find something that sparks our interest. I have found that my spark is mentoring and helping others. I really feel that my spark has inspired I really feel that my spark was inspired from the many awesome volunteer leaders and older members from when I was younger. They have helped mentor and encourage me in my own 4-H journey. I am happy that as an ambassador and older member in 4-H, I'm able to pass that along. My spark has inspired me to further learn how to help youth in our community. Some people think that 4-H is just a program that helps kids learn to raise an animal or learn a skill like how to speak in front of a crowd. To others, like myself, 4-H is a lifestyle. I love being a part of a program that's more like a family. I enjoy that members in our 4-H community shine bright and work hard in all that they do. I love being able to join them in celebrating small milestones and large goals they've achieved. Just like in our 4-H pledge, I love my club, my community, my country, and my world. I am and always will be a true 4-H'er.
I'm Sue Moore. This is my 40th year. I'm starting my 40th year as a 4-H leader. With all the organizations here that are looking for volunteers, I choose to give my time to 4-H because of the connection with the University of California and the differences that I see that it makes in our community. My daughters grew up in 4-H. My husband and I were both 4-H volunteers, and all these years later, I am still here. I get to be a mentor to these bright young adults. I get to share in their learning and their excitement. I get to help them change gears when things don't go the way they planned, and I get to congratulate them on a job well done. 4-H doesn't just impact our members, it also provides opportunities for parents and families to grow and participate. I see parents learning along with their kids, taking on challenges and being active in the community. I appreciate that 4-H is research-based, that it follows a sound educational model, and I'm proud to represent the 4-H program as a volunteer leader, and prouder yet of all these teens. Each of these 3 girls that was up here speaking has an emerald star on their hat. It's a green star. It means that they each developed and chaired a large community service project. So they're not just our future leaders. These are the leaders of today, already here.
We have prepared some gifts for you to show our appreciation of your continued support. These include a water bottle filled with some fun trinkets that share our theme for National 4-H Week, Beyond Ready. Through all of our experiences in 4-H, we are beyond ready for whatever comes our way. We also want to extend an invitation to come see us either out in the community or at our events. Come see for yourselves how 4-H members learn, grow, and contribute. From all of us, we thank Tuolumne County for being the local partner in the University of California Cooperative Extension. Thank you.
And I believe it was Supervisor Campbell that asked about Achievement Night. This coming Sunday, which is October the 6th at 3 o'clock at the fairgrounds in the Manzanita building, is our annual awards program where they're hosting the program and they're also receiving awards along with the leaders and all the members. So if you're out and about on Sunday afternoon, we invite you to come. There's also a slideshow of our 23-24 year and ice cream.
So very good. And I'm just going to make a comment. I complimented your first speaker, and then two other girls got up and spoke as well, and you all did fantastic. Thank you. So.
Yeah, I put it underneath.
I did. You know, Tracy didn't.
So I've asked Supervisor Brandon to speak with you guys from the board. Please go ahead.
I appreciate it. This is a program very close to my heart, especially since I was not a 4-H kid. I've mentioned before, my parents were musicians, and so we were pretty far away from raising animals, going to the fair, and all of that. I know this is all about you guys, but I want to take a moment. Sue, thank you so much. 40 years is an immense amount of time to dedicate of service and helping other people. I'm about twice as old as the folks that are up here, maybe a little more. And to be doing that for longer than I've been alive, and to do that for so many generations of kids, that's really special. And I think that really needs to be recognized, and the community, I think, thanks you for all of that. And yeah, let's do a little applause for Sue. 40. Enough about Sue. Maybe we'll get you up here for a resolution coming up soon too. Guys, we love embarrassing our best leaders in the community. I want to say that everybody did a great job speaking to the board, and you may recognize me from harshly judging some of your debate performances, which you have absolutely nailed and done a fantastic job. And it's always been such a pleasure, because it's a way that I've learned more about 4-H and what you do, and to see that amazing value. So for reference, when I was in high school, my achievements were I could skate backwards on rollerblades, and I got level 80 in woodcutting on RuneScape. Those are like the big achievements that I did. You are so far out in front of the pack of everybody your age right now, that it's incredible. It really is. I mean, you think to your peers how many folks have done service projects, care about other folks and are trying to help out, who have actually kind of run a little business, who have taken care of animals in a serious capacity. Head, heart, hands, and health. You are all critical thinkers. You are all people that are leading with your values. You are folks that appreciate getting your hands dirty and performing service, and you care about your community and your world. And so there's very high expectations on you that you will eventually be the leaders that come and hopefully replace us again, not too soon, but into the future. Everybody that's in a leadership position here and our staff, all were your age, all were in high school, various paths to it, chose to go into public service and want to do this. And maybe run for office too. And a lot of times, nobody asks or makes it easy, but we need leaders like you that want to step up and serve our community. So I appreciate you being here. Since 1902, 4-H has been an amazing program. I was so surprised to learn too that it's raising all of these different animals and the way that you have to judge them. But beyond that too, there was robotics and 3D printing, there was speech and debate. It was so much more than I understood when I had school colleagues that were in it. And for any parents in the audience, it's an amazing program to enroll kids in. It's an amazing program to support. We're very proud to be part of a 4-county, multi-county partnership, is our technical term for it, and to be continuing to support that. I think we get something like a 9-to-1 return on the dollars invested there, and that's just looking at what I think UC A&R and UC Cooperative Extension do. That's not even talking about the investment that we're putting in you to basically go and help our community into the future. And I wanted to give a shout out to with the entire Cooperative Extension and UC&R team, with Jolyn to where'd she go? Oh, jeez. Well, she's very busy, but partner programs in this too, with the Master Gardeners, with research assistants like Cindy. UCA&R does a lot of really good work too, and UC Cooperative Extension is a local partner in making that happen. So with that, I'm very proud for our board to be introducing this resolution to honor you. And congratulations on particularly your every little badge and thing on that hat. I'm sure it took how many hours you think? I don't know, 20, 30, 40? That's a lot of hours on those hats. We appreciate you being here, and congratulations, on sad goodbyes but new beginnings on that. I'm sure you had a fantastic experience and left a model there too for everybody that's coming up behind you, and great to see new faces every single time. So, Mr. Chair, shall I make the motion? Oh, we got to do comment.
Yeah, so first of all, let's do, is there any public comment on this presentation? One person coming up. Hello.
Yes, there is, because I have been coerced in becoming another harsh judge at times, and it's really been a very interesting experience. And I know they need other judges, so if there are any other people in the community, any of you who would like to help judge their projects and their contests and whatever else they have, I would encourage you to do that. I would also encourage you to do a resolution for Sue, because she told me many years ago that she was going to retire, and instead she's coercing me. Thank you.
Any additional public comment?
And I forgot, we should applaud Kim Freeman. I don't know how she manages to serve so abundantly with the 4-H group in spite of all her other duties. She is a very impressive mother.
Any additional public comment? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to the board and look for the motion, but also wanted to, while you're all here, right, as soon as we conclude this item, we're going to take a short break and allow time for a photo op. So don't everybody run off. We had the opportunity for you guys to get some pictures as you would like to. Okay, and Supervisor Brandon.
Wonderful. Well, I am very proud to make the motion to adopt Resolution 8824 proclaiming October 6th to 12th National 4-H Week.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Supervisor Brandon, second by Supervisor Campbell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Better not. And abstain. Okay, very good. And so we're gonna break till let's say just about 2 minutes after 10, just to allow a little bit of time in between here. So thank you very much. You guys did great. Okay. So welcome back, and we are going to move on at this point on our agenda to item number 18, and if the clerk could please read that item.
Item number 18, presentation of a 25 years of service award to Jason Crow, Senior Equipment Technician, Fleet Services.
All right. So, please go ahead, Blossom.
Good morning, Board. Blossom
Good morning.
Scott-Heim, your Public Works Director. With me, Orlando Magdaleno, our Fleet Manager, and Jason Crow, our Senior Equipment Technician, who we're honoring today. It's with great pleasure that we celebrate 25 years of outstanding service by Jason Crow to the County of Tuolumne today. Jason embodies the spirit of a proud Tuolumne County employee and daily goes above and beyond to assist his fellow employees and other departments. In Jason's 25 years, he has worked on many county vehicles from almost all the departments, including roads, fire, ambulance, and sheriff. Jason started as a road worker relief in October of 1996 and was hired full-time as an equipment mechanic 2 in September of 1999. He was promoted to Senior Equipment Technician in 2015, and that's the position he still holds. Some highlights in Jason's career include helping build several graders with an outside agency in 2005, and those graders are still in service today. He has excellent fabrication skills and has assisted in numerous projects over the years, like building dump beds, flatbeds, and most recently, mounting the pothole patcher from a trailer to a truck mount. Very important. Outside of work, Jason is an active participant in youth football. He's coached the local junior Cats and currently coaches the Sonora High freshman football team as assistant coach. Jason still serves as a senior tech in the Public Works Fleet Services Division. And for all the reasons listed above, it's my honor to come before your board today and present this outstanding employee with his 25 years of service plaque. And I think Orlando wanted to say a couple words.
Morning, board. Thank you. Didn't have much to write down for Jason because I wanted it all come from the heart. I haven't been here a full year yet, and the time that I have spent with Jason has showed me a lot of things of how an individual can be and should be when working for a government agency. I came from another county agency where you were recognized just as an employee number and not a person. So when I came here to Tuolumne County and got to work with the staff that I have, it has been quite a blessing. These guys, we're a small staff, and the amount of ratio that we have for vehicles and equipment to staff is impressive of what these guys can handle and what these guys can do. With that being said, Jason, for me, I look at him as he's a leader. He didn't have to, I don't want to say necessarily take me under his wing. He knows where the bodies are buried. He knows the equipment. He knows the staff. He knows the needs of every division out there for the road maintenance and for other divisions or departments. And being able to work with Jason, he has stepped up without having to. He took things upon himself. He shows me every day that his heart's in it, that he is there for the county. He's there mostly for his crew members, and he's there for me, which I really appreciate. It's been just a short time, such a blessing working with him, and I'm honored. Congratulations, Jason.
So I've asked Supervisor Campbell to say a few words on behalf of the board. I'll make one brief comment. To keep graders going, they take a lot of punishment in their lives, and if you can keep graders going, you've done well.
Well, I certainly didn't build the grader.
No, I understand that.
No, actually, to clarify, I built the snow plow itself to push the snow with.
Yeah, that sounds easy.
Yeah. It was really a fun feat. It was a lot of
Supervisor Campbell.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And I'll just put this out there. If you like seeing snow plows go down your street in the wintertime, if you like having sheriff's deputy vehicles speed down the road and report to emergencies at your house or fire engines, or you like having your potholes paved, if you like any of these equipment that serve the community, you need to thank this man. So thank you so much, Jason, for your dedication to the county for over 25 years, really, if we include your relief period of time as a part-time employee. And you shared with me the story that when you started with the county, your nickname was the kid. So it was like, hey, give the kid that job, give the kid this thing to do. And so maybe you're not the kid anymore, but I got a new nickname for you, and it's Coach. So I like that. I've just seen the way, we've at Public Works, we've been on a shoestring budget for, the past 100 years or so. And the way that we bridge that gap between what we want to achieve and what we have the resources for is the dedication of the employees like you. And so I'm so grateful that you use your mind and your ingenuity to help keep our county running. And that famous picture of myself and Supervisor Kirk high-fiving over a pothole patching machine, you're the one that built that, or you assembled it from the parts that we received from various locations. Because a lot of people don't remember at that time it was hard to get axles and heavy equipment. And so you were able to kind of source those things, get them together, put it together, and get it on the road working as quickly as possible. And seeing how you, the appreciation that you have from your team that it just highlights the fact that you're not just an employee, you don't just punch a clock, you are a leader in our community, you're dedicated, and you're also helping develop the next generation of youth in Tuolumne County as a coach for Sonora High. And also the junior cats too, right? Yeah, so you do a lot for the community when you're on the clock, and you do a lot for the community when you're off the clock. And for that, I really have to congratulate you and thank you for your service.
You mind if I say something?
We would love
please.
for you to, yes, your opportunity.
I really have been blessed to be for this career that I've had so far. You know, I've worked with many great people, men, women, and had a lot of great supervisors that came and went. Keith over in Deke, the guy that hired me, he was a supervisor back then. I loved him. He was a great man. Mike Young as well, that just recently retired. Great mentor to me, and Orlando stepping in has been wonderful. You know, when I started back in 1996, I called my dad and I said, Dad, I think I'm going to go on to work for the county. And he was like, son, that's a great idea, because you know what, you're going to have something for a pension. You know, you can have something to work for. You can make a career out of a job like that. So I thought, wow, career. You know, when you're young, you look ahead and I see guys that maybe at that time a guy had 15 years and another guy had 20. He was getting closer, and I was like, wow, 15 or 20 years, that seems like an eternity away. Can't think about that right now, you know? And so I would just worked and worked. And now I look back, and Orlando and I were driving down here, and he was asking me, like, what's 25 years? How's it gone by? And I've heard it said before, it goes by quick. You know, now, standing here now, I was like, wow, and reminiscing about those old times. But I really wanted to focus on the career and making a career. And this has been a wonderful career for me, and to be in this community, to work in these mountains, to work with the staff that we have, the culture that we've put in place out at Fleet, to where, you know, all of us work together as a team. And that's carried on for many years. And I'm proud to carry that and keep that going. And what I want is I want to keep this career path for the next generation of men and women that come forward, because what I've seen is there's been a lot of good guys that have came to Fleet over the years that have, you know, they've worked for a while and learned things and got things, and, you know, and they're searching for the next thing, you know, and for somebody to stay and make a career of it, it seems like that's kind of going, and I hate to see that, because this is a wonderful place to have a career, and I think it's important to stay, because the experience, and I'm seeing it now, because all the time my colleagues and stuff are like, hey, what did you do 10 years ago with that? They didn't know. And it's like, well, yeah, I remember that. Well, this is how we did that. You know, and so I'm staying on, I have the experience. And so it's super valuable to have that career experience and be able to stay. And so my hopes are that we can have that avenue for a career for the young guy that's 25 that's going to call his dad and say, hey, Dad, I got on with the county. You know, and then his dad can say to him, hey, that's great, son. You make a career out of that. There's going to be something good for you at the end. You'll have a pension and something to look forward to. And I just want to make sure that stays in place for those people. Because it all, as you get older, you don't think about it when you're young. You don't think about that retirement spot. But as you get older, at this point, that weighs more and more value, is like, hey, what am I going to have when I get there? You know, when I get that age, you know? And then I've even logged on to my CalPER things now, you know, nowadays, because I'm like, wow. I was kind of surprised, because I never did before, and when I did, I was like, wow, that's what I got. You know, and whoa, I got this many years and stuff, and now it looks like, and so that gets more and more valuable to me. And I think it's important for those people to have that path. So I hope we can keep that path and create that path. And I want to thank my friends, my co-workers, for coming out and supporting me today. I really appreciate them and love them. Thank you, guys. Thank you, staff.
Of course, if they'd like to, yeah, please come on up. Yeah, opening public comment, and we've got a lot of coworkers here as well. Now, I know you guys aren't all that shy, right? So.
I think we need to get back to work.
Okay, well, just by what we saw, from here, obviously, you've got a lot of respect and, congratulations, for sure. All right, well, cool. We are going to move on to item 19, and if the clerk could please read that item.
Do we need to pass a resolution?
It just was presentation, I believe, yeah. I was just...
Item number 19, consideration of adopting Resolution 8724, proclaiming October 6 through 12, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week in Tuolumne County.
All right, so I see a presenter coming up here.
All right. Good morning, Board. Steve
Good
Gregory,
morning.
Tuolumne County Fire Department. Take them off to read. Today we come before you to consider the proclaiming October 6th through 12th as Fire Prevention Week in Tuolumne County. Tuolumne County Fire Department is teaming up with the National Fire Protection Association, the official sponsor of Fire Prevention Week for over 100 years, to promote this year's Fire Prevention Week campaign, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work For You. The campaign works to educate everyone about the importance of having working smoke alarms in their homes. According to the NFPA, smoke alarms reduce the risk of dying in a home fire by more than half, or 54%. Meanwhile, roughly 3 out of 5 deaths happen in homes with either no smoke alarms or no working smoke detectors. The Tuolumne County Fire Department encourages all residents to embrace the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work For You. This year's Fire Prevention Week campaign helps better educate the public about simple but critical steps they can take to ensure their homes have a smoke alarm in all the needed locations and that they are working properly. Tuolumne County Fire Department offers these key smoke alarm safety tips and guidelines for the public. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, and on each level of the home. Test your smoke alarms at least once a month by actually testing and pushing the button, and replace all smoke alarms as needed or after 10 years. To find out more about Fire Prevention Week programs in Tuolumne County, please contact the Tuolumne County Fire Department at 533-5118. And for more general information about Fire Prevention Week cooking safety tips, you can visit www.fpw.org. And a great website for children is www.sparky.org as well. It is recommended that your board proclaim October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week in Tuolumne County. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And we do have some swag in the back for the public.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to speak on behalf of the board on this item. And I definitely wanted to, just based on my own career in the fire service. First of all, just thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We look at a lot of different things. We look at fire prevention, and we look at early detection. Smoke detectors, right? That's that early warning, that people get. And absolutely saves lives. It's been proven over and over and over again. There's no question about it. But it is very important, to recognize and to consider, how they're managed and how you look. There's a lot of options out there. And just if you're going to Lowe's or wherever you're going to purchase them, right? They've got this model, that model. They've got a lot of combination models nowadays, and long life batteries. Read those documents that come with the smoke detector, but really important is education, right? Education, particularly in the family setting, and so we often we look at children, as the ones that if you give them that information, they absorb it, right? They're really good about that. Quite often more than their parents do at times, right? You get them going and they go home and educate their parents. Having, spots like, a website, sparky.org is really good. But also, I would just like to put out there and for people to recognize that our elderly people are also a population that we need to be concerned about, and when you talk about smoke detectors, because they can sometimes have confusion and not understand. And so it's good to educate, the elderly population, if they're part of your household, especially. There can be fears involved, and, but it's overcome. When you talk to people and give them that information, then everybody feels a whole lot better. And I know everybody in the fire service feels better at that point, and anybody in the public, I know in our role as supervisors, I'm really appreciative of everything we can do to help people. So.
Well, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'll call for public comment if anybody'd like to speak from our audience here. Good morning.
Good morning. I appreciate the resolution. And I guess the swag in the back, I haven't really checked that out. But I really want to applaud Emily from CAL FIRE, because when they did one of the first responder events at the fairgrounds, she had stuff and she was doing all this education with little kids. It was really great. And so I also remember a program quite a few years ago where they were outside like Safeway and Walmart, and they were giving, I think it was seniors, it could have been more, opportunities to get free smoke alarms. And I don't know if anyone is still providing that program, but we have a lot of older people, a lot of older homes. Do they actually have working smoke alarms? So I would like to see a little public outreach. Thank you.
Any additional public comment? Okay, so I will bring it back to the board, and I will make the motion on this for adopting resolution 87-24, proclaiming October 6th through 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week in Tuolumne County.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion by myself, David Goldenberg, with a second by Supervisor Campbell. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, very good. Thanks for the presentation, and thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you. Congratulations to the 4-H girls.
All right, let me take a quick look at our agenda here. If we can take a brief pause here just for a moment, thank you. All right, as people will note on our agenda, we had a 9:30, I believe it was, appointment to a public hearing to discuss the budget. But what I'd like to do is have the clerk read item 20, and like to go ahead and take that item. Do we have staff? I think staff's still in the room. So we can conclude that before we roll into the budget. So if the clerk could read item 20, please.
Item number 20, consideration of approving the plans, specifications, and bid book for contract number 1781, 2024 high friction surface treatment project contained in the fiscal 24-25 adopted budget, and issuing a call for bids to be due on October 24th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
And welcome again.
Good morning, Board. In May of 2024, the TCTC allocated $790,000 in one-time RSTP funds for the application of a high-friction surface treatment on curves along existing roadways. The locations for the treatment are along Rawhide Road, Soulsbyville Road, O'Burns Ferry Road, and Springfield Road. RSTP funds can only be used on arterial and major collector roads, so the work on Springfield Road, a minor collector, will be funded with SB1 funds. O'Burns Ferry Road accounts for just over 60% of the project, Rawhide Road for 11%, Soulsbyville for 17%, and Springfield Road is 10% of the project. According to the Federal Highway Administration, the high-friction surface treatments reduce injury risk by 48%, runoff road accidents by 72%, and wet road accidents by 83%. Plan specifications and proposal forms for bidding are available on the website at OpenGov Procurement. Bids are proposed to be due on October 24th at 2 p.m. The project is funded through the RSTP funds, $790,000, and SB1 funds, $60,000. The environmental coordinator for the County of Tuolumne has determined that the project is categorically exempt from review under CEQA pursuant to Section 15301. And I just want to note that this project is something that the CHP has been requesting for many years. That location down on O'Burns Ferry Road at Old Green Springs Run is, they say, their highest call-out location, especially in wet weather in the wintertime. Not to mention that the Public Works has spent tens of thousands of dollars repairing that guardrail. So we're very excited to finally have the opportunity to apply this treatment down there. I'm available for any questions.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's well known throughout the county that the problems on O'Burns Ferry Road, and there's other problems as well, but that's a lot more expensive, to figure out that. So I'll look to the board first for questions of staff here. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I don't have any questions. I'll look for public comment. I will have comments when we come back to the board. Any public comment?
I am so happy to see this. I have had so many discussions with CHP about O'Burns Ferry and trying to help them. Like, who do I have to nag to get this money? And it's taken a long time, and I'm not sure that any nagging really helped. But anyway, thank you, and thank you for acknowledging the CHP's issues over that road, and I hope this will make a big difference in the people who like to drive like idiots here. Thank you.
Any additional public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for comments at this time. Supervisor Brandon, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Only to say that this is, I think, a continuance into a lot of investments that have been made into roads. I really appreciate whenever grants are out there that we're able to go for. I know that you are on it, you are looking for it, and particularly with Springfield, there's a neighbor there that I know has had a car in his yard every single year. And that is a somewhat dangerous turn a lot of people take. And this has been a long process of kind of talking about it, looking at some of that data, and I just really appreciate seeing that on there. So, thank you.
Supervisor Campbell.
Yeah, and thank you, Blossom. I'm obviously, I think we're very supportive of high friction surface treatments. They make the road look really good, and the public really likes them. And so I think these are all areas that desperately need them. And so you do such a good job narrowing down the areas where we can have the most impact and do the most good in our community. And it's a perfect example of projects like that. So thank you. I agree 100%. No notes or corrections or anything I would change. So.
Additional board members. Supervisor Haff.
I'll just say what's not to like. Thank you.
And I echo the comments. I think you said 48% avoidance of injuries. Was that the number I heard?
Correct.
That's huge.
Yes.
Right? And we're aware of that. So love to see this very much. And so with that, I'll look for a motion.
Chair, I'll move that we approve the staff recommended action for the high friction surface treatments.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I have a motion by Supervisor Campbell, second by Supervisor Haff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing in this project to fruition. All right. So now I will have the clerk of the board, believe we've got everything else covered. Move on to our 9:30 appointment. If you could please read that item.
9:30 a.m., public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 24-25 budget with personnel recommendations as outlined in the budget document, approve the classification bargaining unit assignment and pay range listing, updated capital project list, the appropriation limit computation method and resulting limit as recommended by the county auditor controller, and adopt the fiscal year 24-25 budget resolution 8924.
Before we get started, I'll just I want to pre-thank all the staff for the incredible amounts of effort that goes into this whole budget process. And, we're coming to, the end, today, to look at this, but a tremendous amount of work. So please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, good morning. Tracy Riggs, County Administrator's Office. With me is Liz Peterson, Deputy County Administrator, and next to my right here is Donnie McNair, our Auditor Controller.
And I'm sorry, I need to interrupt. I neglected to
Public hearing.
open the public hearing, so I will do so at this time. Thank you, Clerk of the Board, for reminding me.
Thank you. And Supervisor Goldenberg, I also want to thank everyone. As you know, this is an effort that takes every single department, and great work from department heads, their fiscal staff, and then the auditor's office and our office. So lots of months of work goes into this, and we're excited to present this adopted budget to you. So Liz and I will go back and forth here, but what I wanted to do, we're gonna do our normal trading, but go ahead and go to the next slide. We are going to do a little bit of starting off with where we ended, and that's a good place, right? So where did we leave and where are we going? So on June 18th, your board approved the recommended budget. And one of the things we like to highlight, the difference between the recommended budget and the adopted budget, is that the recommended budget is forecast. It is forecast on forecast. We've talked about this even at our town halls, because the current year budget is not complete, and we come in with forecasts, and then we make that next budget with more forecasts. So as we come into this budget now, Auditor Controller's Office has worked with every single department. He has reconciled everything. He gives us the balances. We get actual fund balance, and then we get actual revenues and expenses. So when we come into adopted, there's a big difference most years, and that's because now we have final numbers to make those projections for that next fiscal year. So any differences are a result of that. Did I forget anything in here? I think that is it. So we're going to go into the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so just to, again, bring back where we left off. On September 17th, we brought to your board updated fund balances. We brought to your board what we were looking at as far as projections, specifically in revenues, general revenues. And this is what we brought to your board as far as recommendations to balance. And we did make a couple adjustments, but I'll speak about those in a second. So first, we looked at what we were estimating our new beginning fund balance in the general fund, specifically about $1 million. So our recommendation was to put $500,000 in reserves per your board's policy, budget policy, and then increase contingencies by just about another $500,000. That's using fund balance. And then taking what we are projecting to be those increased revenues for this coming fiscal year of about another $2 million, just about $2 million. Our recommendation that your board directed us to do was to eliminate the furloughs that we had originally put in the budget for all general fund employees. There was a handful, more than a handful of departmental adjustments, and we kind of talked about some of those at the last board meeting. And those did adjust just slightly from what we presented to your board on the 17th by about $85,000. They went up just a little bit as we were kind of fine tuning all the numbers over the last 2 weeks. We did also add that additional amount in for the PERS to increase appropriations for what we anticipate will be our expenses, as we're still continuing to work with the auditor's office and payroll to figure out what precisely is going on there. Excuse me. So that left the remainder. Your board's direction was to put whatever we had left over in contingencies for whatever might come up. That left about $117,000. So this is what we did to balance the budget, and you can see there that general fund contingencies are just under $1.5 million, $1,454,618 to be precise. And so that's what we did to balance the budget. And then you can see, this is the chart that's also contained in the memo, but just to see the differences between what we brought to your board at the recommended budget in June, and then what we brought to your board, or what we're bringing to your board today for your board's approval of the adopted budget. So we broke out the general fund specifically. That $5 million difference is what we spoke about with the increase in fund balance, the increase in general reserves, or And then we have a large number of grants that are included in this, and we'll talk just a little bit about those specific grants and how those fit in with your board's priorities in just a little bit. But that's what that $5 million is. And then you can see the differences across all funds, the governmental, enterprise, and internal, and how they changed. So overall, this budget will be $302,690,260 that your board will be approving today. And then this also is in the memo, but just for your board and the public's awareness, this is the amount of contingencies that are set in each fund in this adopted budget. Yep.
Okay, so as we've been doing these last several years is we then break down the budget into the board's priorities. So specific areas that your board have made priorities and then ways that this budget is supporting those priorities. So as we, in January or February, your board meets and you fine tune those priorities. And on the next slide, it will tell us what those are. So being fire protection and public safety, community health and prosperity, infrastructure and employee excellence, and organizational resilience. So then furthermore, your board had asked staff to focus on some key priority project areas. So that was the USDA food processing facility, sheriff's dispatch and administration, sustainable fire operations, specifically ongoing funding for those grant-funded stations, explore potential revenue sources, software applications for road reporting, infrastructure, specifically North Tuolumne Road and other areas, update Parks Master Plan, and then economic development, specifically focus on utility scale solar. Okay, so in here, we were going through the budget and looking at what specifically is in this budget that is supporting your priorities. Most things are. We know that half of the general fund positions are public safety, but outside of that, you have all 5 county fire stations that are funded in this budget. Funding, we've talked about the sheriff's dispatch, so we have funding in there for dispatch, and we're working with BSCC and CDCR, the sheriff's office, and us to see if we can move dispatch in there. So it does include about $700,000 for county cost, and then we'll come back to you with an update as soon as we have it. It includes 2 additional patrol deputies that are funded by the courts in AB 109. And your board also had approved 2 patrol and 1 additional jail deputy in January of '24. We have 1 deputy district attorney. The district attorney did, as she came up and told you, she did get that Office of Traffic Safety, I think is the name of that, the OTS grant. That is allowing us to add another deputy DA. Final expenses related to the public defender. We know that we had, like every other county, is having difficulty in hiring professionally technical jobs such as attorneys, engineers. The public defender fell into that this year, and we saw it kind of fall apart. We now have 4 positions back in there. That is very exciting. But your board approved contracts in order to bridge that gap while we focused on recruiting and retention. The probation homeless outreach van is also in here. You have home hardening. As you know, Dory Beats, our assistant director for OES, has been quite focusing on grants as much as you can. One of those is that home hardening grant and roadside brushing. The master stewardship agreement is also in here, and that work continues. Anyone, I hope that you have had a chance to go up the 108 corridor and see the amazing work that our partners have been doing. And then our natural resources analyst, Sean Hembry, was able to secure a grant for watershed analysis, and so that is also in here.
And we neglected to mention any of the items on here with the little asterisk. Those are the ones that are specifically achieving your board, those separate 8 priority projects that you identified. That's what those are. So related to community health and prosperity, there's a lot in this budget that actually addresses that. So just some of the examples that we pulled out. So we have Community Development Department got the MORE grant, and that is for mobile home replacement and repairs. So that is in the budget. We've set up a whole new cost center, and we'll be rocking and rolling this year. And then as well, the REAP 2.0 grant, as your board is aware of, and that's for additional sewer connections to assist with development in the West County. And then there's, of course, the code compliance abatement funding that your board had set aside in the American Rescue Plan. That is also budgeted, and we anticipate to finish, to spend that this year. And again, focus on one of your board's priority projects. There's continued funding for the economic development analyst to be able to focus on that USDA processing facility as well as utility scale solar work. There's also continued funding for the housing specialist to facilitate. They have, the Community Development Department and Public Works have been spending months under the facilitation of the housing specialist, working on auditing their development process to ensure that those two departments specifically, with the other departments that are involved in development, that they are all in alignment. And so there's funding there to continue that auditing process to ensure that we have a streamlined housing process as developers come in and want to build housing here. There's also funding that was acquired, I think, last year, 2 years ago, but the funding remains budgeted in here of the encampment resolution funding for the sanctioned camping site. So all of the work that goes on out there. And then the permanent local housing allocation, or PLHA as we refer to it, there is that funding in the budget this year, and that pays for the ongoing operations of the Navigation Center, which we anticipate to open, I believe, any day now. We have been hiring the staff, and it's quite exciting.
Okay, under infrastructure, some specific items that we're calling out are, we know we've been having ongoing issues with our HVAC systems, especially in this building and A&F. If you've ever been in there, sometimes it's 90 degrees at 11 o'clock in the morning and very difficult work conditions. So your board did direct that we focus and get that repaired, and there is funding in here for a repair of that. Probation deferred maintenance, we constantly have issues with the older buildings, and so we have set aside fundings to address some of those with probation. The Network Operations Center, this has been something that Roger Root, our former IT director and now assistant CAO, has been pretty focused on. So it's redesign and reconfigure the Network Operations Center. Paving machine, something your board has been wanting to see. Is there some equipment that we can purchase that would our road crews would be able to do some of that work? So she has a team that went out and looked at some equipment, and we have put a piece of that equipment into the budget. Tuolumne Road North, we know, has also been a major point of concern for our community. That is budgeted, that repair, and she continues working with all of the agencies to bring that to fruition. And the Jamestown Gateway project, this is an exciting project. I think we're all looking forward to that. That is in here. The community project in Groveland, that is also budgeted. And if you have some more details about that, we'll have, bathrooms, and there was something else with sidewalks and something up there too. And then software for road reporting. This was something your board discussed during your workshop, and that is also in here and budgeted.
And then lastly, in the fourth priority area, the elimination of furloughs, which I gotta admit, I kind of struggled back and forth with whether or not to put this in, but I think it's important. I do think, this matters for our organization and for our employees, that your board took the step and directed that furloughs be eliminated once we realized that general revenues were likely to come in stronger. I think that does really contribute to, a healthy, strong workplace culture. We also have funding in here in a variety of cost centers for training, and that's for employees across all funds. And that is another really important aspect of employee excellence, especially the specialized expertise training that most all of our departments have to have, but then some of those other types of trainings that really just help employees become better employees, better serve the community. Also, we have funding in here for the education reimbursement program. You may recall a couple years ago we revamped that program, and we continue to see record numbers of employees taking advantage of that opportunity to be reimbursed for part or all of the cost of them to receive higher education. So we do have funding in there in the budget again for that. And then we do have funding as well to update our personnel policies. That's been a long, arduous process because they are quite old, and it takes a lot of investment and involvement, and our human resource team is still taking lead on that in partnership with county council and the county administrator, of course. So there's funding in there for that as well. Okay, so here's some personnel changes. that are included in this adopted budget. And I do want to mention, because we brought to your board some personnel changes at the recommended budget, and then we were still working through the meet and confer process at the recommended budget. So we brought, Human Resources brought some changes to your board in July. And then here are some more changes. So we've sort of been in this back and forth flux state with personnel changes. And we are still in the meet and confer process on some adjustments, and so we will bring the updated allocated position list, to your board once the meet and confer process is done. But for now, this is what we have approved and what we're asking your board to approve. So these are the ones in the general fund. So total, we are looking at 2 additional positions in the general fund, two net, I should say. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. We're eliminating the deputy air pollution control officer because your board took action earlier in the summer to add a director instead of a deputy director. So this is just the process, and this was one of those ones that we had to complete the meet and confer on. We are adding that new administrative analyst in the county utility cost center. We also have an administrative technician, which is a grant-funded position in community development to support the MORE grant that I just mentioned from mobile homes. And then we are adding, and Tracy mentioned, the deputy district attorney that has that Office of Traffic Safety grant that they will be charging to, as well as some other revenue sources. And then we're making some adjustments to some existing positions, but that are one that's filled, one that's vacant, to move them out of some of the OES grant cost centers into the OES cost center. It's still all grant funded. It doesn't have an impact overall on the FTEs, but nevertheless, we're requesting your board make those changes. Yeah, actually, and I guess that's it. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, we did. We also changed for the 2 vacant positions in OES, we did change the class specification. We're asking your board to also approve the new salary and also approve the bargaining unit to the management union. And then here are personnel changes in the other funds. So in the road fund, we are just making some adjustments. We're deleting the supervising engineer and then adding an engineer 1, 2, 3 instead. The supervising is vacant. And then we're adding an ambulance billing technician in the ambulance fund, and that's to just help with additional workload. And then in solid waste, also asking to delete a solid waste technician and add a solid waste specialist instead. So no net change there to solid waste or public works, but just kind of making some adjustments to better recruit for what the departments need.
So on that slide with the supervising engineer, they did do 2 recruitments, and they were unsuccessful in getting somebody qualified. We have several people, internally, that we're hoping to grow up into those positions over time. So what we would rather do is, rather than keeping a position vacant, working with the Public Works Director, Blossom Scott Heim, is we'd like to hire the engineer 1, 2, 3, and as they progress and get the experience, she would then hope that we could then change that back to supervising once we have some that qualify and they have the years and experience and to qualify. So likely to happen probably in 18 months to 2 years, where we would come back and ask to create that position. And that, again, is investing in existing staff and encouraging them to grow and then giving the opportunity to promote. So the next one that we're going to go into is your board budget policies. Oh, wait, sorry, this is the final. I'll let you.
Sorry, just to close this out. So as I mentioned, there's been a lot of flow from June and July, and then even now into the adopted budget. So based on the final end of the fiscal year 23-24, we had 743.6 FTEs, and so now we will have 749.6 FTEs. It's a total change of 6, but as you heard and are aware, we've had lots of adds, but then deletes. So it's a total increase of 5 positions across the general fund between year end and adopted, and with 1 additional grant funded position.
Could we go through those 5 really quick? I believe there's a district attorney that's been added into there, and I believe one of them is not grant funded, but it's pass through funded with utility
grants,
cost center, right? So there are 3 more. I was wondering what those were.
Well, yeah. So yes. So we have to go all the way back to the recommended budget to start there. So I did kind of put this together based on the various times that we've come to your board. So we added, in the sheriff's office, we added 2 sheriff's deputies and a public safety administration manager. This was all at the recommended budget in June. We added in the juvenile hall a senior juvenile, oh, and I should say the deputies have revenue sources to pay for them.
That's the courthouse security, right?
That's right, and AB 109. We added a senior juvenile correctional officer and a staff services analyst in the juvenile hall. Those also have revenue sources, ongoing revenue sources to pay for them. In the homeless cost center, we eliminated the senior administrative analyst because that position was vacant. We added a supervising groundskeeper. We added a business manager in the general services agency, and then we added a senior planner in the community development department. So that artificially, you could say, inflated our numbers. So that was a total of 7 at the recommended budget. But then in July, we brought to your board some changes. So we eliminated a planner 1-2. We added a senior planner in community development. We eliminated the 1-2. We eliminated the assistant to the department head in the sheriff's office. We eliminated a groundskeeper in facilities. We eliminated staff services analyst in facilities. And then we added the air pollution control director. Your board directed that. So then here in the adopted, we are adding that grant-funded administrative technician in CDD. We're adding a deputy district attorney, eliminating the deputy air pollution control officer, and adding a county utility analyst. So it's
So some of those, and
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No.
just while we're on this, because I know this in particular get questions on. So what were like the 5? So again, I know some of those were taking one that was a planner, and now it's the position higher. than
Yeah,
that.
so, okay, so I guess we could, there's a few ways you could, definitely we added 2 sheriff's deputies, deputy district attorney, the county utility analyst, and the grant-funded administrative technician for CDD.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the utility analyst? Which one's that?
That's the one for TIPA,
Oh, that's the TIPA one?
and that one would be fully funded as well. It's not a general fund cost.
It's technically in here as general fund, but it's not paid.
That's right.
'Cause
It
it's not
is
grant
budgeted
funded.
in the general fund.
So that's one of the 5, but
That's
we're not
correct.
actually.
That's correct. So we don't, when we have positions, say the ones in the juvenile hall or that county utility one, when we have those positions that have revenue sources to pay for them, but they're not grants, we don't list them as grant funded in the allocated position list. Yeah, if it's ongoing revenue, then we don't list them that way. Okay.
So now we go through what we call the report card for how we're adhering to the board's budget policies. And, there's no midway either. We just have either we pass or we fail. So the first one is balance annual operating budgets without the use of one-time revenues. Specifically, we've called out a couple of times, but use of beginning fund balance beyond the 50% of the 10-year rolling average is what our budget policy says. We're using $1 million more than that. So we should be at 1.5. We're using 2.5, which is why we have a fail there. We're using $1 million of one-time fund balance monies to balance ongoing costs for next year. The other one is dedicate unobligated available beginning fund balance 2, and you see annual reestablish contingencies, pay down county debt, increase reserves, fund future liabilities, and then fund capital projects. We have a pass on that one. And then we have a pass on budget non-earmarked general fund contingencies at no less than 1% of the operating general fund. As you can see, that would be $1,025,000, and right now our recommendation is almost $1.5 million.
Okay, so the next one is reserves. And the budget policy says that we'll establish general reserves at 7% of the total operating budgets of the governmental funds, excluding capital budgets. And then striving to set a minimum of $500,000 annually until the reserves are fully funded. While we don't give a sort of pass or sort of fail. This would be a sort of pass because your board is setting aside $500,000 to put toward reserves. But of course, if we were to be at 7% of our governmental funds less our capital budgets, that would be almost 14 million, $13.8 million. And we are currently at 5.5, or we will be at this after this budget, which is about 2.8% of the total operating budgets for the governmental funds. So that's a fail, but your board is working toward that. So number 5, strive toward fully funding future liabilities in the following areas. And we put this as a pass. While we do have our PERS liability, admittedly, I was trying to, look on the positive side, I guess, because most of our other future liabilities are nearing funding, specifically and particularly our workers' comp. And then with the actions that your board has taken with the Section 115 in funding post-retirement medical and other PERS into the future, maybe I was a bit generous, but I gave us a pass. And then in number 6, approving changes to personnel, including additions, reclasses, or departmental reorgs only during the development of the adopted budget, except when they're adding positions that are grant funded. We did have that kind of hiccup there in July, but that wasn't anything about, that was just about ensuring that we complete our obligations through the meet and confer process. But that is the process that we established now. And then 7 kind of has an A, B, C, D. So 7A is prioritizing funding based on board established priorities and objectives. And as you heard, that is certainly what we work toward. And I think we've passed that. Do you want to know?
Okay, so the last set that we have here is the strive to provide funding to adequately maintain existing plant and infrastructure. We have fail on here. While we continue to strive, we know we simply don't have adequate resources to do what we need to do, whether it be county buildings, deferred maintenance, and or roads. So that's why you see a fail there. Continue an active long-term capital improvement program. We've talked about this on many occasions. Our last plan was from 2012 through 2016. We do not have a current capital improvement plan. Nor do we have anything about how we would finance it. So we see a fail there. And then match specific state and federal funding reductions with the same cuts in specific program expenses. So that is a pass. And then the establishment of a budget team. We continue to meet and we work on budget together. We discuss everything together and have great conversations. That is a pass on there as well. Okay, sorry. Then we have the staff recommendation. So on here, what we are asking your board is that you can see all 4 actions is approve all recommendations for personnel as outlined in attachments A, B, and C, updated capital projects list in D and E, and the appropriation limit as calculated by the auditor controller, attachment F, and then the 24-25 adopted resolution. What I do want to do is 2 things. First, remember if your board wants to make any changes, today what we do is ask to take a break. We go back, we work with auditor controller, we make the changes, we rebalance everything, and then we come back in. If you don't have any changes, then what I'll do is ask Donnie to go ahead and go through the GAN limit with you so that you understand. He can give his recommendation, and then we would ask that your board would move on staff recommendation.
Okay, so the appropriation limit is increased annually by one of 6 calculations. I recommend alternative 5. This is the surrounding counties population increase times the non-residential increase times the 23-24 limit. This gives the largest increase to the current appropriation limit, and then the 24-25 budgeted tax proceeds is only about 52% of that total appropriation limit.
I do want to mention too that I passed out this morning just a couple slight changes to the resolution. I had written in there that your board approved the recommended budget on June 20th. It was actually June 18th, so I made that little modification. I'm requesting if your board wants to approve the resolution that you do it with that modification. And then also attachment E, which is the road construction capital projects, had not been included as one of the supporting documents on the agenda packet. That was presented to your board this morning as well, and there are copies of both of those items in the back for the public as well.
Okay. So, let's start, and I know we had a couple of questions that were interjected at the appropriate times during the presentation, but like to look to the board members at this time for specific questions. Then I'm going to reach out, to our public in the audience today, and then we'll bring it back to the board for further discussion, and a little change in how we've done this in the past is that at the end of public comment, we'll bring it back to the board, but we won't close out the public hearing at that point. Okay, we're going to bring it back for further discussion in case the board has, some potential changes, because it does affect how staff, react and move forward on things. So, just so everybody's aware of that on the board level, I wanted to point that out. So, Supervisor Haft, did you have questions?
Yeah, it's just a silly little question, but I'm curious. On slide 10, it talks about the probation homeless outreach van. Just wanted to know if we have any details on that, if it's actually been purchased, or what the plan is for that.
Yeah, the chief is in the back, and I think he'd be happy to speak to it.
I haven't
Yes,
heard
it
much
has been
about that
purchased.
lately, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
Opportunity to brag a bit.
So yes, we did purchase our van, and we've been using it almost weekly with the sheriffs and the police department to visit the homeless camps. We're still working to get it fully equipped so that we can do online meetings and be fully wireless, but we're working on that. We're working with the IT to get that in place, but yeah, we're out and about with it regularly.
So can you, in maybe a sentence or two, give us the objective for that van? What is,
Sure.
especially
So
with probation?
The grant paid for the vehicle. It doesn't pay for the staffing, but for 3 years, it's going to allow us to get out there and connect with homeless populations that are being supervised regularly. We have a great number of them out there. So we're hitting our high priority sites, designated homeless camping sites, along with other non-designated sites with other law enforcement. So it's just allowing us to get out there, provide a presence. I know the police department has a grant program, so they partner with us, and so we go out with them once a week generally. And so, yeah, it's just allowing us to do more, to meet people where they're at. We're not out there necessarily making arrests, but we're conducting our normal office visits or field visits with the van. And we're going to do more with it as well. We have some additional software that will enhance our ability to work with our sex offender population, do in-depth searches on devices and things like that. So there's more coming with it.
So last question, do you find that this van is helping you meet your objectives in having these meetings with people that ordinarily wouldn't come into the office or just don't have a way to get into the office?
So far, it's been very positive, yes, and it prevents them, failing to come. And so far, it's been, we're just, starting it within the first 3 months, 6 months, I'd say. So far, it's all been very positive. And, we typically show up with, supplies, water bottles, things like that to provide to people in the camps as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very good experience so far. Thank you.
Supervisor Kirk, do you have anything as far as a question? Okay, Supervisor Brandon, why don't you go first then?
Great, thank you. First, I wanted to ask about two of the goals that were listed there, and I appreciate it being filtered through, but there were two that I'm not sure I would agree with. So one was under, community health and prosperity, but it was with the audit within the community development department. So I wanted to ask, is staff's interpretation of what was discussed at the board workshop that would be kind of an internal audit, or that some of these other prioritized things met that? To my understanding, that was meant to be an independent audit of processing times, as well as basically permitting process and policies. So not the ordinance level, not the general plan level, not the technology level of doing the online. We're always trying to improve that process. This was meant to be an independent audit.
What slide are you on?
This would have been through.
It's possible I just put the word in audit and it wasn't, just as for, it's not like like a financial audit in that sense. It was more
Slide
of a,
11.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and because I had viewed that as one of the things, unfortunately, we had not been able to get to that I would like to see done. and
Like
I
a
don't
hire a
want it to
third-party
be
consultant is what you were saying, like a outside,
Something like it. I don't think we've facilitated anything that's an audit of the development process other than what is internally done in looking at improvements per year, but that could be said for any of the last 3 years.
So I think what she may be referring to is the work that Tamara is doing with the developers, and they have the audit review, not audit, there's a review team that the developmental DP, it's like DP, not DPR.
No,
anyways.
correct, but that's not it's not an audit.
What I'm saying is I think she used the wrong term when this got put up. We're not talking about audit. This is about the review they're doing to streamline the process, but it's not an actual audit.
Okay, just to
Sorry.
clarify, because
Yeah.
then we have a focus area 2, and this is just for context of it. Focus area 2, community health and prosperity, number 3 is audit is the term in this, existing development processes, develop recommendations for improvement and streamlining.
Yeah.
So,
We're
anyway.
not
that
doing
is happening. That is happening, it's just not with an external third-party consultant, it's happening internally.
Sure,
with
we do
our
that every
housing
year, though.
Housing specialist facilitating that, and then in partnership also with developers as well as all of the internal county departments that are involved in development.
Okay, I don't agree, but.
Well, that is what's happening.
yeah.
I think perhaps what I'm hearing is that there was a misunderstanding between staff's understanding of the goal and the board's understanding of the goal.
I wanted to ask too about with the road reporting software. I remember this discussion, Supervisor Kirk had brought that up, thought it was a good idea. I was looking at something that was, I think, a GIS mapping software that was tracking multiple issues. This had roads in there specifically, so I wanted to ask, is it intended to be funded and limited to just road tracking? Or is this gonna be for multiple issues?
I'm going to have Roger come up and discuss that. I know he was working on this, so he would be the best equipped to respond to that.
Good morning, Board. Roger Root, Assistant County Administrator. I have been working on some ideas and some initiatives with the Public Works Department. And I think I've shown examples to the board members of applications that we can do internally that won't cost us additional money. The direction that we originally got was to focus on something that was simple, that we could use to identify the location of potholes. And that was what we took from the board workshop, and that was what our focus was on for this project. We did not expand it to additional things like down trees and other services that would be available through other applications. And they are a possibility. We can do those things, but it requires a lot more time and a lot more effort from staff, which we currently don't have.
Okay. Again, I remember that conversation differently, is do it easy and don't create our own form internally that takes a lot of time. Look at one of these inexpensive ones like rubbish.io was one we were talking about for a year beforehand, but.
Yep.
Okay. And then I wanted to ask about the contingencies as well. I think we had general discussion and direction on that, but our 1% policy, so that's 1,020,000, we're putting 430 roughly more into contingencies.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask about the reasoning behind that rather than doing it to one of the other board policies of putting it towards, say, PERS debt where we're paying on that, or putting it towards a capital or deferred maintenance need. Since in contingencies, it's being invested, but it's invested at a fairly modest rate.
Yeah, so this was the direction the board gave us on September 17th, sorry.
Yeah.
So this was the direction the board gave us, was to put everything in there, knowing that as we go into the year, we may have other match for some of the road projects and other things coming up that we don't know what they are yet. So our staff recommendation was to put the remaining in there, and the board did direct us to do
Right.
that.
We weren't anticipating having more than the 1% though at that
Yes,
point,
yes,
were
we
we?
were.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought
and-
in this, we're putting more than 500,000 in new funding to contingencies.
You're not putting more than 500. We're putting, you would be from recommended. Yes, you would be.
Right,
And
we
we
didn't
did-
have the 1,020,000 yet.
We told the board that we thought you'd be around $1.5 million, which was 500,000 over what the normal board contingencies is $1 million.
Right.
So we did say that we would be over that amount, but it's, again, your board could direct that however you want.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
curious, because it came in that this was, 620,000 roughly more and we are 430,000 over the 1%.
Yes.
So I guess at that point, I was anticipating, based on projected, we would be closer to the 1%, and this came in more than we anticipated, as we know. I wanted to ask one last thing, too. I'm really excited to see the paving machine on there. The roads, obviously, is a huge issue. Going through the whole Tuolumne Road debacle, too, I think made me realize, at least, that it seems like we need to have some type of option to do more in-house than, if we can, we got to do it. And that we're not necessarily prepared right now to do as much of that work. So I wanted to ask on it, what are we talking about for a paving machine? And where is that coming from?
Blossom can
Yeah.
speak to that, absolutely. It is coming from their fund balance, though.
Okay. Public Works fund balance.
That's correct.
Which would normally,
That's
okay.
correct.
Yes, so we went and looked at some different models. We've chosen a potential model. It's a standard commercial paving machine like any of the contractors have, capable of doing full lane width. It fits our needs. And what we've done is we've taken a little over 300,000, 350, so we have a little extra of our fund balance that we would normally use to pave roads. And we're gonna apply that as a one-time investment this year to purchase a paving machine.
Okay.
So that means not a lot of paving this year, but we will have the machine to start doing a lot next year.
Is this an overlay machine? Is this like what does it roughly do?
This-
I'm not an expert on paving machines,
So
like
this-
what model it is, but what's
Yeah.
it roughly cover?
So we can do thin overlays, which we can do under public contract code as a maintenance, and we can also do full thickness overlays, which as the road commissioner, we have the authority each year to do about $600,000 worth of full-on nice professional overlays.
Okay, well, with Tuolumne Road thing, and sorry, this will probably be my last question on this, if we kind of get to the point with it, is with the slurries or chip seals in that. My understanding is that a limitation for us is equipment, basically, and then a little bit of training with it, but that those are not subject to the same, because the overlay's got the what is it, 1 inch provision, 2 inch provision?
Less than 1 inch.
Less than 1 inch.
Yeah.
Is this a piece of equipment that's able to do chip seals and able to do those types of maintenance slurries, basically?
No,
Okay.
we would need a separate chip spreading machine, which we've also priced out. That's also about $300,000. And that's something we were hoping to purchase next year if we could scrape together the money. That
Okay.
would allow us to do, chip seals are considered a maintenance treatment. So under public contract code, we could chip seal every road in the county with our crews, and it would be in line with public contract code.
Does that exempt the 60,000?
Correct, yes.
Not exempt. Does that not apply?
It doesn't apply because it's a maintenance treatment.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you for letting me ask those.
Supervisor Kirk, if you're ready, if not, I've got a couple, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, that was a conversation we had with the board a little bit ago about the roads, and that's where Blossom's headed, so hopefully, good things to come. One of the questions I had was on slide 17 regarding the positions. Supervisor Brennan had asked it, and then you clarified. And what's going through my mind as I look at this, we're getting ready to have, a tax measure on the ballot, and we're increasing general fund positions. But we have to be really clear, 2 deputies, 1 DA, 1 CDD. I wanted to know, what was the position in CDD? I was trying to catch it, but I didn't.
It's a grant-funded, administrative position to help run that MORE grant program, which is the mobile home
Okay.
replacement.
So that one's grant as well.
Repair, that's right.
So that one's grant.
That one is listed as grant funded.
Okay.
The other ones have ongoing revenue sources, so they're not listed as grant funded.
Okay. So 2 deputies, 1 DA. Was the DA grant as well or no?
It has grants to pay for it. It is a permanent
for it.
position, but it does have grants to pay for it.
So basically, and then the deputies is just straight up, we're handling that.
No,
General fund.
they have ongoing revenue sources as well. The court trust revenue as well as AB 109.
Oh, is that the, you already say the court? Okay.
Yeah, that campus security position specifically.
It's
is
really,
those
I
two.
mean, it's, I
And then the
hope,
county utility analyst, I'm sorry to interrupt.
okay.
is the-
No, I hope it's important that people are realizing a lot of this stuff is offset, even though it's a general fund increase. Law enforcement, CDD, I have a beef with the utility thing. I wanted to wait until TPPA. Actually, and also, why don't we just call it TPPA analyst? Why is it utility? has it always been utility?
Well,
Why
I
don't we
could
just call it
refer
what it
to
is?
our auditor controller who told me that we can't have two of them named the same. We already have a TPPA fund, and so we can't have another one or another account named the same thing. So that's why they gave us county utility. It's funded by the TPPA, just the budget for the staff time.
And then one thing that caught my eye, and I don't have enough time to go through it because I was just looking at, but I'm going online. Where is our board priorities posted? Because the one that I have saved, it looks like it's a 2008, but the budget policy. And the reason why I bring it up is because I'm looking at this. I mean, I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, shoot, we failed. Oh, cool, we passed, we failed. But then, like, I went to our 2018, and one of ours, we're very specific. We call out law enforcement, saying that we want to specifically fund. It's number 6, prioritize funding for public safety and road maintenance services. But like, I don't see some of those on here as a pass or fail. I know we've kicked some major butt in public safety.
Yeah,
so-
there's a difference between your priorities and your budget policies. Those are
Okay.
two different documents, and they're both on our website.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can send you the links if you would like to
So
have
this
those.
is pass or fail for every single one, or did we just kind of
Those-
pick and choose some of them?
Those are the budget policies, and we
Every
went through
single one,
everyone,
okay.
yep.
All right. And then because I was thinking about budget policies, I know when we had the trends and projections thing take place back in July, has that, if I were to go online right now, has that been updated to that budget policy? Board budget policy procedure?
Do you mean-
To do trends and projections?
No, but
process?
we can come back in the future if you like and bring the board budget policies and have a discussion to see if there's anything you'd like to change and update, and you could add it at that time. We have not updated the board
Well,
policies
and that's
yet.
why I'm asking, because I thought we did in July, say we want to add this to board
We did
budget
not.
policies.
I mean, your board directed us to come back
Mm-hmm.
in mid-year and September, I think it was, what we talked about, but we did not officially, your board did not direct us to officially update the board policies.
Okay.
The last time your board updated the board policies was in, I think, this last year. I think it was early this year. Yeah, and we added some
So I
components
could be wrong,
about-
but I thought it was brought up to update, put it on there. And my
Great.
point is, I don't want to
We'll
forget.
do that. Great.
Okay, so put it on there for me.
Great.
So when I
Yes.
go online, I see it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Unless I'm outvoted, but it was a good thing we went through. And I think that's it for my questions. Thank you, guys. Oh, no,
Okay.
I did. I'm sorry. I have one more. And this is just, maybe I'm not following the math right. On slide number 4, at the very bottom, it says remainder to contingencies, 117,000, but then increased contingencies is 499. Is that 117? So what was the total contingencies that we increased? Is it the 499 plus the 117?
That's correct.
Okay. So I wanna make
The 499 was utilizing fund balance,
Okay.
whereas the 117 was utilizing our anticipated general reserves that we
Okay.
are projecting.
Make sure I didn't miss anything else.
I'm sorry, revenues, not reserves. The
I
other
think
part.
I did. Let me just make sure. Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, we've got just 2, maybe 3 questions here. Number 1 was, and maybe it was stated and I missed it, we're talking about, various improvements we made in different departments and filling positions. What is our current vacancy rate overall? Do we have that number?
See, I don't have it right.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
we can
reason-
find out, but
yeah,
it's,
the
I
reason-
think she sits
the-
around 15% the last department head meeting.
Yeah,
which
the
would
reason
have
I'm
been-
asking is we were, 17, 18% at one time, and we've been making some progress, and I just wanted to kind of, quantify that and to show what our efforts are bringing us, and bringing that down because and this kind of gets into a comment, but it helps the county overall, it helps our employees so they don't get overloaded by having a higher vacancy rate. Okay, I did, and I know that came up and there was a brief conversation about the road condition reporting system. I didn't hear when it was, maybe I missed it, when it was expected to come online? Do we have a estimate of that?
He is on his way.
Good morning. I probably should have mentioned that when I was up here the first time. We're targeting for after the first of the year.
Okay, very good. And I know there was some other conversations about that area, but you know, we've made a lot of progress on roads. We've got a long ways to go, and that's one that the public really wanted. And the other one, we just briefly discussed it here towards the end, was and Supervisor Kirk brought it up when we talked about utilities and TPPA. Couldn't we very simply say TPPA 1 with a brief description and TPPA 2 with a brief description, instead of something that people may not understand that is related back? I know, I understand there's a need to keep them separate, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the naming convention separating not
Right.
having two phones with the exact same name, or.
Right.
I mean, just as far as confusion, being able to separate the two.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the naming convention could both use that, you know, the program that it's in, you know, but anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come up with a different name, certainly.
I'm just,
Yeah.
They can't have
you know, that can
Yeah.
be something, you know, done after. I think we cleared it up here in discussion, but wherever we can avoid the confusion, the better, right?
We might be able to put like county TPPA in some
Yeah,
run of it,
yeah.
something like that.
Just something
so
just
it's,
to-
not just county utility, but it's not, you can't have two with the same names. Yes.
I get that, right? Let me take a quick look here. Okay, I don't have any other questions, so, and look to the board one last time. Any other questions? I'm going to move to public comment. Here, okay. Looking, call for public comment on what we're addressing today as a board.
Thank you. I will comment that when you've been out at the town halls, you were telling everyone our budget was going to be 287 million. Now today, we're up to basically 303 million. And you're adding positions. I agree with you, Supervisor Kirk. I remain opposed to your county utility new position. I think that'll bite you in the butt at some day, but whatever. I want to address the employee policy and procedures, because I was promised when Ann Friend was still here and Sherry Brennan was board chair that those policies and procedures were going to be updated. So they still haven't been updated, as far as I know, since I think it was 1996 or maybe 1997. Because you only have a sexual harassment policy, and I was looking for a bullying policy because there was bullying taking place. So I hope this new policy and procedure will cover bullying. Supervisor Brandon, you asked several questions that I didn't hear a straight answer. I heard a lot of shuffling, and that makes me nervous. I want to thank you for canceling the furloughs, because that basically totaled less than $800,000, but that caused a great deal of anguish amongst your employees. And now you're adding employees, so that always leaves a good impression on the public. We've been spending a lot of money on homeless people, a lot of money. These vans, we're taking them water, we're doing this, that, and whatever. We also spend several $1 million on homeless housing, and yet we've housed no one still, no one. Tammy bought a house in June, and she's already housed at least 2 people. I think 2 more people are going to be housed this week. So at the new behavioral health, they've got 4 people housed. So I just have some concerns. I'm just voicing them. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Sheriff.
It's still morning. Good morning, Board, County Administration. Just real quick, obviously I've heard a lot of questions about adding positions and things like that, deputy sheriffs. All of the positions that are increased or were at one time allocated are paid for with special departmental revenues. It's always been my position that utilizing our operational tempo with strategy will always be to utilize state money or special departmental revenues to expand county resources and not the other way around. So if there's anybody that has a question as to what those positions look like, they are fully funded and they are not creating more of a problem than we already seem to be navigating. One other area that I'd like to talk about that I heard briefly touched on is 911 infrastructure. I think it's important that the people have clarity as to how their 911 infrastructure is going to be prioritized. The reason why I highlight that is because I've heard different conversations about interpretations of meetings and what things mean and how they come out. I really appreciate the county administrator's comments regarding the project, and she spoke highly of 911 infrastructure and spoke to the tune of approximately $700,000 to move forward with that and seek plans and hopefully get some progress on that project. The reason why I have to get that clarity as I stand here now is because the difference between the recommended budget and as we stand here today is significantly lower funding. Now, I don't think that that has anything to do with the level of commitment that this board has to increasing 911 infrastructure. It's just important to me and the people that they have that absolution. And some of the language that I picked up from the county administrator was that she said that the $700,000 was to get us going on the project, get plans, also do evaluations, and then bring it back. And what I'm asking for is just some absolution as to what bringing it back means. My interpretation of that is that this board is dedicated to 911 infrastructure, and since that significant change has taken place since recommended to now, that bringing it back would look like this board utilizing whatever resources necessary to ensure that we have sustainable 911 infrastructure. And not to confuse movement with progress, but should that project be delayed, that we look at other avenues as well. And I know I've said it in the past that we do have options, specifically other buildings and infrastructure that are designed to support 911. So it's important that we have that clarity for me and also on behalf of the people who are exhausted with the efforts of needing 911 infrastructure. And our last network outage was actually about 7-8 days ago. So just something I want to make sure that that's fresh in everybody's mind and that we're all maintaining 911 infrastructure at the highest priority. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just was curious, other than the $700,000, how much do you need to complete that project?
I do not know at this time standing here right now, which is why I'm leaving my comments open to the guidance and for the discussion. But I do know this is that from the recommended budget, originally sheriff dispatch and miscellaneous deferred maintenance was attached to an item specifically in capital projects. I want to say it was identified as internal loan. And now it is not on there anymore, and those funds are being used for a different project, but we are still funded to some capacity. I just want to make sure that that isn't any type of indication that we're losing any support for this project and how important 911 infrastructure is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to actually go the same place, right? It's difficult to, figure out how we're going to pay for something if we don't have the amounts. And I absolutely know from our conversations that you're working steadily and hard with various state agencies to come up with those numbers, and so that's very important. I don't believe there's any change in board thoughts on this area. It's still very high priority to get that move done, and and as soon as we can.
Yes,
So-
and I have not felt a lack of support from the board or from the county administrator's office. I just want the people to know that if they're looking and paying attention to recommended budget, that they see that their sheriff is advocating for that infrastructure because there is a change which would look significant if you're comparing the two.
Absolutely, and understand and appreciate all the efforts that you're doing because I know they're substantial. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just clarify that?
Yes, so in the recommended budget, you may remember we brought to your board a presentation that showed we had a presentation for the recommended budget, and during that presentation, we said we had a placeholder for the Yaney Court. We had a placeholder for the internal loan, and it was labeled. Unfortunately, it shouldn't have been labeled with a project name, but it got labeled with a project name. It was supposed to just say deferred maintenance or other. And then we asked if your board wanted to reconsider the Yaney Street Courthouse elevator. Your board voted yes on that, so that internal loan was correctly, it was labeled later as Yaney Street Courthouse. But unfortunately, what did happen, and the sheriff and I have discussed this, was our staff inadvertently posted the draft documents on final documents on the agenda system, even though the budget portal had the correct information and the correct statements final documents were inaccurate. So when I saw that, we have corrected that since then, but that's what happened and it led to some confusion.
So no change to the plan and the desire to get that thing fixed?
Correct.
In
Yep.
whatever we got, okay.
Yep.
So I'll-
Once we have numbers, then it will do our normal, we'll sit with the auditor controller, we sit down, we begin to coming up with a way to pay for it. We just don't know what that is yet. That's what I mean by coming back with an update. We'll have an update at some point, and we'll let you know what that county cost will be, and then we will come with a unified plan of how we can fund it.
Yeah, I know we're hopeful to see that, there might be some, good investments on the part of the state towards this effort because they're due for refresh on some equipment anyways. But as far as the internal loans, is there room in that to still look at that in the future? And I'm not looking, we don't know yet what we need, but just
Yes, so your board can do a different internal loan later, and it would just, this one is specifically for that. Our hope is the sheriff is doing everything he can to leverage funding through Cal OES and other places. We do have $700,000 put aside. We actually think there'll be little construction for the site itself. But yes, your board could consider that. Once we know what it is, we just don't have a way of knowing what that will be right now.
all right. Thanks for the additional clarification. Additional public comments?
Good morning, Board. Cassandra Jenneke, your district attorney. I just wanted to address the additional deputy DA position that the CAO has worked very closely with our office to try to get added to this year's adopted budget. Obviously, our office is struggling with staffing, and a large portion of that struggle comes from really enormous caseloads. And so by adding a position that allows us to leverage ongoing available funding, including but not limited to the Office of Traffic Safety Grant, our Real Estate Fraud Trust Fund, and prison billing, we are going to be able to expand the capacity of our office to file and investigate those types of cases. And it will allow us to add that capacity to all of our attorneys. The Office of Traffic Safety Grant fully funds a deputy DA, and the reason why we're kind of working our way around additional ongoing funding is that recruitment for grant-funded positions is really hard, and when we can't fill permanent positions, there's very little opportunity for me to fill grant-funded positions that require experienced prosecutors. And so our intent is to utilize the Office of Traffic Safety Grant ongoing. It is a one-year grant, but we'll reapply consistently in January. And unfortunately, as I've told you before, we have the substance abuse problems in Tuolumne County that warrants the continuation of that grant. And I don't anticipate that changing anytime soon. So, thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for, at this time, for general comments. And if something came up, in these discussions where you have questions, certainly bring those out as well. And looking to see, would anybody have anything in particular? Supervisor Brennan, go ahead.
Great, thank you. First off, thank you for all the work. I know second time saying that on this one, but appreciate bringing it back. I had 3 comments on a couple specific things. One, I brought up before with the PLHA funding. We said that we would bring it back to the board to reevaluate that strategy over the 5 years. We have not done so. And I don't know if the entire amount is going to Rafferty. It has a number of divisions in it, but that's very limited housing funding that there's not a lot in that space that can go to housing programming policy review. I'd like to see that. We keep adopting budgets and then just kind of throwing it into that first year adoption, which is not what we said we're going to do. We said we're going to plan it, but evaluate annually, and we haven't done that. Second thing is the audit one in particular was one I really pushed for at the board workshop. Title 17 is one of our goals, so that was a separate one. Hiring a housing specialist was a separate goal. That was one. OpenGov online permitting, that was a separate goal. We had the Housing Policy Committee was in there. That's kind of what the builders group now basically replaces. So the audit was not any of those things. It was something different. And so, I don't know, I don't view that as one that we've done. Even if we are internally doing it, if I said and replaced that with admin office, you could say, well, we've audited, we've gone through and looked through our budgets and we've looked at our processes and we've had staff changes. I mean, any department could say, well, we're auditing every year. that's not what, to me, an audit is, so,
Yeah, I definitely hear you.
yeah. And
That language specifically came from those action items that we identified, and they're in Clear Point, which is why we pulled it in.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we are doing, and you are funding that to happen. So that's where that came from. It is a part of your board strategic plan.
Right.
So I think, I mean, clearly there was just a misunderstanding.
I appreciate it. And these three things I brought up in our meetings with the admin office. I brought up inappropriate committees that I have been a part of. And just to preface that, I haven't seen it. The last one was the reporting software. That was not my idea. That was Supervisor Kirk's idea. I liked it, but I wanted it to be similar to the solid waste item. And so I was throwing support behind that at the workshop, but it's kind of the second one to say, it's great. It was really not to have an internal proprietary OpenGov type form. It was to have external software that is cheap and easy to deploy that we don't have to maintain. And so I know we're not talking priorities, but this is kind of linked very well. So whatever amount we're putting towards that, that doesn't seem to go.
So my recollection is that the full board did not support the more crowdsourcing type thing you were talking about, like external and engagement. They first wanted to do the road reporting. That was my understanding as we came out of that, and that's how we've been kind of following it.
There wasn't support, for example, with the road one either, because it was thought to be redundant with what currently exists in the GIS system from staff side was what was presented. And,
Okay.
yeah, anyway, that's just my kind of
So
view
it's
on it.
been staff
I thought we
time.
did have direction to
Yeah.
have a larger data reporting system with it.
Yeah, and right now.
Because this is
yeah.
crowdsourced reported data, it's on roads, so it is crowdsourced.
It's one way, there's no interaction on it, it just comes in, they ping it, it's a little bit different, but just so you know, there's not been any money other than staff time, and that has been Roger working with Blossom's team.
Right. So those are just three comments I want to make on it.
Okay,
The
thank you.
last thing is a recommendation I'd like to see. It's a nice, easy one to probably implement. But between when we first had this and now, fund balance and everything had come in higher. So I agree we need to put the 1% of our amount into contingencies. So that's the $1,020,000. I do agree that we need to be very financially prudent, but I think there's a few ways to do that. So there are two options of what I would like to recommend to the board. If we're planning to sit on that money at some level, I would prefer to put it into the 115 account where it can be invested that and then be able to pay off pension amounts. It serves the same function, but if we don't hit that negative year, we're then able to use that to get the prepayment money basically back. So it's more valuable than putting it into contingencies. Or two, I would rather move forward expediting the purchase of a chip seal equipment, because that is something that gets around a lot of the overlay challenges we have. And I see that as being something that would be extremely valuable for the county in our deferred maintenance, and that matches our policies too. Alternatively, I don't necessarily want us to be investing in the equipment at the expense of road projects for next year. So perhaps that contingency could cover the cost of the equipment that is currently budgeted out of the Public Works fund balance, and basically restore that. So one of those three, I'm open to any of those as an option.
So I would like to ask, and I forget the numbers that we heard, how much additional above the 1% in dollars are we talking about, just so I have a better feel?
430, I think.
Well, I want to hear it.
It's like 440,000.
Okay. When we're hearing potential specific requests, I just want to understand
For 425.
whether or not
or so,
we
yeah.
have the funds to do this.
And if I can clarify in the last two, so the paving machines mentioned about 300,000 roughly, and then the chips machine, correct, was, you said, priced out at also 3. So it would fit within what we're putting extra above policy into contingencies.
Okay, so but before I go on to additional comments with the board, I would like to hear board thoughts on what Supervisor Brandon was just speaking to, to get a feel, right? Because we still have the opportunity today to do some shifts. Some of these could be fairly simple shifts where staff would go make a change and bring it back, and we can do, final approval. So I'd like to hear comments from board members on this. Supervisor Aft.
There's that button. I am not in favor. and I don't need to go into, we've got lots of costs coming up this year that we're in, this fiscal year that we're in, that have not been mentioned. I mean, the CAO mentioned several, but if you think about the upcoming wage and comp study and the expectation by just probably every single bargaining unit that they should get some raises. Now, that neither here nor there, where is that money going to come from? So I'm not in favor of removing any contingency money at this time.
Okay. Supervisor Campbell.
Thank you, Chair. And, and I would agree with that. The premise, I don't think it really is that easy of a shift, because if we're talking about, and I understand where you're coming from, Supervisor Brandon, that you're looking at, there's this money sitting there, and we're missing out on opportunity cost if we don't use it, but just because it's there doesn't mean we should use it now, because I agree with Supervisor Half's perspective that there are always reasons to spend it in the short term, but there will also be potentially larger, more pressing issues in the future, and we have a tax measure that may not pass. We may need that money later if it doesn't pass to do some of these other things to keep operations ongoing. And your comments about roads, I agree that those would be, if we were to do this, those would be the areas I would look at too. But in talking to Blossom, there is a plan going forward for some of these equipment purchases. I don't think we need to expedite that. I think we're on a good path right now. And if, tax measure passes, things change, looks like this money gets more freed up in the future, then we look at those things. But right now, we just don't have a lot of answers to those big questions. And I would rather have the money set aside for the future.
Okay. Supervisor Kirk, do you have a comment in this area?
Well, I'll have different flavors on this.
Sure.
I'm kind of the mindset that I'm for law enforcement, fire, and roads. How much is it? How much money is it?
$429,000.
And you're saying all of that, or 125?
My suggestion was if we wanted to put it into a financial reserve account, we would put it into the 115 PERS account.
Oh, 115,
or
that's the number I heard. Okay.
we would take 300,000 out of it, of that amount, and put it towards either paying the current equipment that's from the road fund or purchasing that new piece.
So because I'm all about fire, law enforcement, roads, I'm almost there with you, but I kind of, where I'm at, the first thing I'd actually do is put that money towards the 911 dispatch thing, because we need 911. Then I would do the machine. That would be my recommendation, but I don't know if we're all gonna. This is a 4-1 vote, right? 3.
Well, if I can throw out, if it's a 300,000 piece of equipment and it's 430 above and again, I do agree, we have a policy and we're meeting that. I'm not suggesting going below that.
Policy.
There would be 130,000 remaining in that, and I do agree, financial prudence. I just view some of those things as also stuff we have to continue. So there'd be 130 that could go to dispatch, and I think Supervisor Goldenberg mentioned earlier, I think that's been a board priority this entire time too, so.
Okay, so
I guess where I'm at is 911, then roads. That's where I'm at.
And I'll interject.
We're on the same tune.
I'll interject here. Number one, in hearing Supervisors Half and Campbell, I am in concurrence with them. So just, put that right out front. I don't believe you have the votes here to carry. I do believe what you're proposing is good line of thinking. But we've got unknowns. And I'll look to CEO Riggs here down the road a piece here. Once there's going to be bargaining discussions. We don't know yet the impact of what we may or may not need for the 911 till we get some more information from the sheriff. It can still be brought back, right? But at that time, it would require a 4-1 vote, correct? So it doesn't put it out of the realm, but we just don't have all the information we need now to make that type of decision.
I appreciate the consideration of it too, and I'm willing to move on with it. So
Okay.
that's the close of all my comments.
Okay, very good.
I think for me, it would be good to know when the sheriff does bring that back, to be reminded that our contingencies are X amount higher than what they usually are this year.
Sure. Yeah, and, okay, so outside of that issue, we've dealt with that one. Additional comments from board members overall on our budget process today? Do we have additional comments from board members? I have a few, but I'm waiting to hear from anybody else.
I say this every year. Ryan Campbell probably is getting tired of it. It's like we're married. The budget is like a marriage. You never agree with it completely. I don't agree with the TPPA thing, the way it all went down. I still want to see it come back. I still want to see the TPPA members become voting members and have more control. I know we're a big piece of that, and we're the biggest, consumers of it. But what I've come to understand is everybody's rates are being increased, and everybody's got a piece of the pie. And so I hope that comes back, that we have that conversation. But it's not a big enough of a political thing for me to not support a budget. I don't agree with it, but I think if we had disagreements with one or two line items in the budget, we'd never pass a budget. So all in all, thank you, staff. I hope folks, I brought up the positions, the general fund positions that are increasing a little bit, but there's reasons behind it, and there's grant and there's funding. But we're going to cross the bridge here pretty soon. Come November, we'll see where we're headed. So thank you guys for the work on this.
Excuse me, Supervisor Campbell, do you have any additional?
No, I think Supervisor Cook said it well. In this marriage, we all have to make, any kind of budget's not going to have everything that everybody wants in it. We still have a lot of questions that are kind of lingering and hanging over our heads. That's why I'm in favor of I think this is a pretty conservative budget that we have, and I'm in favor of that approach. Because like I said, we have a lot of lingering questions over our heads. Next year is going to tell us a lot about where this county is in a financial situation, financially. I think that we've done a really excellent job managing things up to this point, and but costs are increasing, and we're not. We haven't adequately looked at the revenue side up to this point. So. Next year is going to kind of tell us what the following 5 years are going to look like. I think it's going to be a big deal for us. But I think this budget, I really applaud our staff, Donnie, Tracy, Liz, and the whole team on the work that you've put into it. I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of delving into individual items, and so I really appreciate that. And a lot of that work goes on in weekends and after hours when folks aren't even realizing it. So applaud your efforts in this area, and I'm supportive of the budget as it is written.
Supervisor Half, I believe you have additional.
I did realize that I had another comment that I wanted to make, and it's kind of related tangentially to the TPPA discussion since it's in our budget. And it's also kind of related to if not, the Measure Z passes. I want the public to know that projects like ones that we are trying to put in place with the county utility to help fund big projects that would help the community save money. So we are looking at big pictures, increasing our economic development, and I would hope that and I'll cross my fingers, if Proposition Z passes, because I won't be on the board very long after it passes, that the board considers only spending part of that money, if they need to, on salaries, but the rest of the money should go towards improving our economic situation for the whole county, and the money works for itself. So I know that's only tangentially related, but I needed to put that in.
Okay. Guess it's my turn. Number one, and we've heard it from other board members, the work that's gone into this, with the staff here, with all the department heads, the budget teams, meeting, adapting, a lot of give and take, right, along the ways. I commend all of that. Continually working towards trying to reduce that vacancy rate. That's huge. I did have a conversation the other day, actually it was at the employee appreciation event with our public defender, Scott Gross. He had just returned from a state conference where he was invited to speak about how did Tuolumne County get through their vacancy problem that he had without contracting it out, because many other counties went that route. And so I commend efforts like that, and that was really good, and he was recognized for it. Our county was recognized for that, so that was nice to hear. You know, reserves, I've said it many times, I'll say it again. Our balance is currently, before this additional, we got about 5 million now. We're going to add 500,000, so that's 5,500,000. Is that pretty close? We're still way low. You know, we need to, as a county, as a board in future, this is going to be future board, you know, dealing with this. That's got to really move up to double, you know, to have those factors. And it should never be spent frivolously, right? It's for those important, dire situations. So I just want to call that another area that we haven't recognized, and again, this is a future item, but we're talking budgets here as a whole, is the value of the arts in the community and where the payback can come from. And I would encourage staff, and we're not going to do anything with it now, but you know, when you can reach out and speak with the, you know, folks from Tuolumne County Arts, Lori Livingston, you know, she's well connected with the state Arts Council. They have very, very solid, hard data on what those investments can bring back. And the ones that you don't see it as an instant, right? But if we increase tourism because they like the culture and what they see in Tuolumne County, not only does it make a better community for everyone that lives here plus tourists, but there's a financial, you know, portion to that. And I'll step out and say it, you know, the third floor of the historic courthouse is ripe for that type of thing to become more involved with arts. And in the future, you know, we went through a lot of things. We agreed to pay for the elevator because that gives us access, public employees. But, you know, that's a location that would be, you know, potentially, you know, a good one. The last item, you know, that I just want to say, and I'm speaking now generally to all of our employees, right? You know, we went through the situation, furloughs. We found that we had some sufficient funds to, you know, back off of that, so we didn't have the furloughs. We've had a little bit of sidebar conversations from the board today regarding upcoming bargaining and negotiations. I would just ask that all employees recognize that, you know, certainly, you know, this board, and I know staff is very well ingrained, we want to do whatever we can to look at bargaining and to give appropriate raises where we can do so. But please have patience as we work through the process, because I know people are kind of chomping a little bit here, and it's going to take a little more time before we develop this and have a better understanding. So I'm just putting that out as a global statement to our employees to please have a little patience and let our staff, you know, work through the processes. I know our board definitely has concern on a number of classifications, and we've got some very low-paid employees, and we need to deal with that, absolutely. So that'll be the end of my comments, and so I think at this point, what I would like to do is I'm going to close the public hearing at this point, and then I've got I'm going to make the motion. I've got a motion that here that was you know, drafted to address, and so I will read that. I move to approve the resolution adopting fiscal year, well, we've got a typo here, 2024-2025 budget as presented. Number 2, the personnel recommendations as outlined in the budget. document. Number 3, the classification, bargaining unit assignment, and pay range listing. Number 4, the updated capital projects list. And number 5, and the appropriation limit computation method resulting limit as recommended by the county auditor controller. And I know some of those, for the public, it's technical, but it's necessary that we make sure and do this right, so that we cover all the legal basis. So that's my motion, and I'd be looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion by myself, Supervisor Goldenberg, second by Supervisor Brandon. And all those in favor, please say aye. Was there, before we
I'm
take a
sorry,
vote?
just the resolution as well, adopting the resolution, particularly with that
I'm sorry.
modification of the date. Thanks. Sorry.
Adopting the resolution as presented by staff. Thank you. And second, still good there, presumably? Okay. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Very good. Thank you. And it's been a long process, but we're there. All right. It is 11:54. We have, for the public here, we have one closed session item. We've covered all of our other agenda items. We have one closed session item, and we do expect a report out on this item. So what I'd like to do is, the board members, let's take a short break, say 10 minutes. We'll meet in the law library. We'll do closed session. And then we'll come back and report out at that time, and then we'll look for adjournment of the meeting. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Read the closed item, please.
Item number 21, closed session, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Authority Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Michael Patterson versus Tuolumne County et al., Tuolumne County Superior Court, case number CV 66305.
And everything I said a minute ago still pertains. Okay, so we'll meet there. Any public comment on closed session? Okay, seeing none, board members will meet at 12:05 in the law library. I have a report out as follows. This is item 21, closed session, existing litigation. And I went in my office to get my glasses for a reason. I might as well put them on now. Okay, Supervisor Half moved and Supervisor Brandon seconded by a vote of 4-0. Supervisor Campbell was delayed, so he wasn't there. The Board of Supervisors voted in closed session to settle the lawsuit entitled Michael Patterson versus Tuolumne, County of Tuolumne et al., Tuolumne County Superior Court case number CV 66305. The plaintiff shall dismiss the county from his lawsuit. No monetary compensation shall be paid by the county, and the parties shall bear their own costs and fees. The county believes that this settlement is a reasonable conclusion of the litigation considering all of the factors involved. In reaching the decision, the county considered the recommendation of its attorney and evaluated the allegations of the plaintiff, the county's response to those allegations, the law which applied to the case, the county's ultimate potential for liability, and the costs of continued litigation of the matter. It is the county's position that is a fair and equitable settlement. So this will conclude that action, and if there's any public comment, seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting, and we're done for today, and thanks, everyone.